is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome. We have so much to cover today. And, what I'm going to lead with, you'll find out in a moment. But we have so much to cover. And things could not be going better. They really couldn't. There's a problem or two, which we'll take care of. And I'll cover that too. But what's going on in Minnesota is taking just a whole new level of importance. And there's a lot of panic going on. A lot of panic going on. But you know what? There's nothing they can do about it because Trump is the president. If Trump wasn't president, this fraud would continue. But Trump's got everything under control. I'm going to start the main live stream in just a moment, and that is where you're going to see and hear all the audio and video and images I show. So make sure you go over there. The link's in the description. And if you want to call in, I am pinning the toll-free number in the chat, which you can call no matter where you're located. All right? There you go. All right. Let's see. Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. We have so much to cover. It's absolutely amazing to me during the holidays that everyone celebrates, right? Christmas, New Year's, everyone's off, everyone's on some kind of vacation, everyone's having it. But the news is breaking nonstop from President Trump. And he may be at Mar-a-Lago, but he's not really taking a vacation. So a lot is going on. Nick Shirley has just freaked out the establishment. And I'm going to cover that in the beginning. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. And of course, this is the pre-show. The radio show doesn't start for about 30 minutes or so. So this is the pre-radio show. And what I'm going to lead with is I saw this article on CNN's website this morning. And look at what it says. Who is Nick Shirley, the 23-year-old MAGA journalist whose Minnesota fraud story went viral? So, it's so typical, right, of the liberal media. As opposed to dealing with the fraud that's going on in Minnesota with, Governor Walz, his entire government, and the Somali community, they want to go after the messenger of the story that they don't want anyone to take credibly. And I wanted to go through this story because Nick Shirley, for a lot of people, came out of nowhere. And I only first heard of Nick Shirley, I don't know, a few months ago. He did a story on his YouTube channel where he went to that prison in El Salvador where the fake Maryland man was originally sent and where a lot of the illegals from the terrorist gangs, the Trinde and MS-13ers, where they were being sent. And it was an amazing story, very well done, very well produced. I'm like, who is this guy? Next thing I know, he's at the White House. He's in a press conference in the Oval Office. President Trump had a meeting with the new media that were taking on Antifa and others, and he was there for that meeting. And so he is out there all over the place, right at the top level of journalism, and it happened overnight. And I want to go through this story on CNN, which I think they're trying to discredit, of course, Nick Shirley, because he's doing such great reporting. So let me go through this. Courtesy of CNN. And by the way, this story and all the other stories that I share or reference on the program almost every single one of them. My stack of stuff is on my X feed, Brian Craig Show on X. So if you follow me on X at Brian Craig Show, you can get on my show prep. So here's the headline, CNN. Who is Nick Shirley? The 23-year-old MAGA journalist whose Minnesota fraud story went viral. 1 week ago, 23-year-old Nick Shirley was relatively unknown in the public sphere. But in recent days, he has gained hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of views, amplified by Elon Musk, Vice President J.D. Vance, and FBI Director Kash Patel. The MAGA leaders promoted Shirley's video of himself and a Minnesota activist investigating federally funded facilities in the state that allegedly posed as daycares without any children present. It's part of what many on the right say is widespread government assistance fraud perpetrated by the Somali community there. And you can see right out the gate, CNN, they're discrediting this. They're not even interested in this story, right? They're trying to discredit the story and discredit the great reporting done by Nick Shirley. Shirley's experience could only happen in today's media and political environment, where seemingly anyone can go viral. No, he just happened to have a series of big stories. This was a big one following a huge news story, and boom, it went viral, right? If anyone could go viral, CNN would be going viral. They don't go viral, even though they're on every cable system in the world. Shirley's experience could only happen in today's media and political environment where seemingly anyone can go viral, helped along by social media gatekeepers like Musk. Yeah, Musk controls YouTube. Give me a break. It first went viral on YouTube and then over on X. His Minnesota investigation video has garnered 116 million views on X and 1.6 million views on YouTube, a number that most traditional newsrooms would trumpet as a major success. Okay, so we've got 122, let's see here. We've got, according to their numbers, and I think this is low, but according to their numbers, we have 122 million views. I was talking on my podcast yesterday. That's greater than the final episode of MASH, which had about 105, 106 million. And these numbers are much lower than what the actual numbers are. Because, you know, they're not counting people like me, and a lot of people have been doing what I'm doing. On Friday, I showed clips from it and went through it and discussed it. I did that yesterday. Many others are doing it. So, you know, this has been seen by over 200 million. And what I was talking about on my podcast last night, a lot of you out there aren't old enough to remember the last episode of MASH airing in 1983. It was a big deal. It was the most watched television episode in history, and the whole country shut down for that last episode. And it's hard to explain the significance and size of that when you weren't there to experience it, but those of you who were there know exactly what I'm talking about. So, you know, over 200 million, well over 200 million have seen this. Almost every adult, well, probably every adult in the country almost has seen it, at least some of it. But notice how they downplay it, a number that most traditional newsrooms would trumpet as a major success. What mainstream newsroom in this country could put out a story that had that many views today? This isn't the 70s or the 80s. Shirley and others like him present themselves as the future of journalism. They often claim the lack of traditional editing, fact checks, and guardrails makes them more trustworthy. Meanwhile, the audience for mainstream media has been falling for years, and public trust in traditional journalists is at historic lows, amplified by political figures who make denigrating journalists part of their brand. This is the new form of journalism. And now they're going to go back into the details of Nick Shirley's past, which I'll get to in a moment. But I want to ask you this question. List for me the biggest story you can think of that the mainstream media broke. Not a story they covered. I mean, like they covered 9/11. That was a big story. When is the last time the mainstream media, tell me the story, broke a major news story that everyone in America was following and discussing. What do you think? Think about it. Not a story they covered, a story they broke, because Nick Shirley broke this scandal. We knew there was fraud up there, but he went and showed these daycare centers and autism centers and fake healthcare centers. Can you think of one? Think about it. A story that the mainstream media broke, there's one. Think about it. And there's a catch to it, which I'm going to explain to you. When did the mainstream media break a news story that everyone in the country was talking about? There's one, and there's a big catch to it. Watergate. And Watergate, Woodward and Bernstein at the Washington Post did not break a story. Bob Woodward is CIA. He was with Naval Intelligence when he was in the service, and he knew Deep Throat, okay, and who was at the FBI. Mark Felt was his real name, we found, after he passed away. And the CIA and Mark Felt at the FBI worked together and just gave everything to Bob Woodward. That wasn't even breaking a story, even though it's credited as that. So the answer to my question is simple. When did the mainstream media ever break a major story that everyone in the country was talking about? And the answer is never. Not once. Watergate is the one they always credit, but I just gave you a very capsulized history of that, but that wasn't a story they broke. It was a fake story, CIA. Okay, so back to CNN. Who is Nick Shirley? Now CNN, they hate this kid because he's doing real journalism, something that the mainstream media have never done. Shirley has not always presented himself as an independent journalist as he does now. They go through the history of his YouTube. His YouTube account's early videos are more along the lines of shock content and pranks. 6 years ago, as a 16-year-old, Nick Shirley filmed himself flying to New York with his friends without parental consent. See, they've been investigating Nick Shirley. But they're not investigating Tim Walz and this Minnesota fraud, right? 3 years after that, Nick Shirley posted a video titled, "I Tricked TikTokers into Auditioning for a Justin Bieber music video." It shows you how young he is, that when he was, a teenager, he's making videos about TikTok. Though he found modest success with these videos, Nick Shirley started really gaining views once he shifted focus to political issues. In December 2021, Shirley announced he was quitting to serve on a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Santiago, Chile. He was going to become a Mormon missionary, which I'm assuming he did. I didn't know he was Mormon. Now we do. 2 years later, Nick Shirley resurfaced with his current video format. Content that focuses exclusively on political issues. His first several videos focused on illegal immigration at the border. Immediately, he gained significantly more views on YouTube than his prior videos. He surpassed 1 million views for the first time with "I Investigated the New York City Migrant Crisis," posted in February 2024. A video titled, "I Infiltrated Rio, Brazil's Most Dangerous Gang is the Biggest to Date," with more than 4.3 million views. His YouTube channel currently has 1.21 million subscribers. By 2025, Shirley was well known in the MAGA universe and was invited to speak at the White House in October during a roundtable with President Donald Trump about Antifa, an anti-fascist movement with no leadership of organization, they write. Notice here, they're also doing PR work. This is a CNN article I'm reading from. So they're trying to discredit him because, and I'll talk about that. Don't worry, I'll address this stuff. Because of what he was doing on YouTube as a teen, and now here they are being the press agent for Antifa. Shirley's video in Minnesota was posted during a typically quiet day for news, December 26th, day after Christmas. Although the video was done relatively well on YouTube, X said his video has garnered more than 116 million views on the platform. The explosion in viewership came after a boost from other conservative figures, but the views really took off when J.D. Vance and Elon Musk reposted Shirley's video on December 27th. I saw it on Friday, both on YouTube and X, and it was going viral already before JD. I'm glad JD and Elon got in on it, but it went viral before. That's why on my Friday podcast, I covered Nick Shirley's video. Musk in particular has long commented about allegations of fraud in the immigrant community, including the Somali community. Since Shirley's piece took off, Elon Musk has amplified the story several times, framing it as emblematic of broader government waste, democratic policies, immigration, and the failure of mainstream media. The attention has also caused Nick Shirley's follower count on X to shoot up from around 200,000 in early December to more than 800,000 as of December 29th. And then they go into this. Listen to this. Shirley's not the first to report on allegations of widespread fraud in Minnesota. News outlets have been covering the issues for months, including, like Shirley, knocking on doors at seemingly empty Minnesota child care centers. In January, KSTP Channel 5, an ABC affiliate, reported on 62 active investigations involving federally funded Minnesota. CBS has published several pieces on alleged fraud in Minnesota. The FBI has already been investigating in Minnesota. And they go into some details on those things that I'm not going to share now because they're not important. They're basically filler for their word count. Then they conclude, but in today's modern media environment, it's the right figure with the right following and with the right style that resonates with the audience, hitting at the right time. That can make all the viral difference. So they had this very long article on CNN, this Who Was Nick Shirley article, and it's all about trying to discount him and the story. And actually, at the end, trying to tell you it's not even news, that in fact, it's old news because local news has covered this and on and on and on. None of these things are true on the face of it. I mean, obviously, there's been some coverage of it. No one has done what he did in the way he did it. And so what that he went viral? They're acting as, as if because it went viral, it makes it not credible. It makes it more credible. This went viral on Friday, like I said, before Elon and J.D. Vance got involved. And it went viral on YouTube. And when it went viral on YouTube, that was 100% organic. And on X. Immediately at the same time, before Elon was even involved in it or commented on it. It went viral on its own. Now, it got more viral because of JD and Elon and a lot of people like me covering it and talking about it. But it went viral on its own and organically. And so far as what he was, CNN's taking issue with what he was doing on his YouTube channel when he was 16. One of their star anchors that they put up at the top of the pedestal with CNN, Anderson Cooper, who is CIA, by the way. But remember what Anderson Cooper did that made him famous? Do you guys remember? There were two things with Anderson Cooper that made him famous. One was before CNN. He was CIA the whole time, by the way, his whole life. But he had a reality game show, The Mole, that was on ABC for a couple of seasons. That's when he became a nationally known figure. The show was hot. It came on right after Survivor's first season when reality shows were big. So he got famous, Anderson Cooper, doing a reality show. They hired him on CNN. He wasn't the big star over there that he has been the last few years when he first went to CNN, but he became very famous during what was viral before we used the term Hurricane Katrina. And if you remember, not only did he cover Katrina, Anderson Cooper was there for months in front of the same upside down house reporting every day from New Orleans. Remember that? So, why is Anderson Cooper credible, but Nick Shirley isn't? They spent their whole article trying to discredit him and his report. Oh, this is old news. It's no big deal. It's just because Elon made it go viral. Oh, man, but I got to tell you, he is the future of journalism. And, I saw that very overrated movie that came out last year on Saturday Night Live. I saw it on an airplane last year when I flew to California to see my daughter. It was just an awful, overrated movie. And I'm a fan of that era of Saturday Night Live. I was a kid. But Lorne Michaels, he's arguing with one of the executives about the show. And he says, this is the first, and he yells as if this means something. This is the first television show brought to television entirely by people who are the generation that grew up on television, right? Whatever, you get what I mean. Nick Shirley is the first journalist in the new media, which is online. He's the first major journalist to break a major story that grew up in the age of viral videos in the internet. So he's been breaking a lot of big stories for a while, and he's been a part of things for a while, but because he grew up on the internet and YouTube and TikTok and everything, he understands how to use the internet and to go viral. To know how to go viral or get big does not discount you, as CNN would like you to think in their reporting, as they're also defending Antifa, describing it as a group with no organization or leadership. Give me a break. So that's Nick Shirley. And, Nick Shirley, the biggest problem he has right now, other than his safety, because they hate him, and is his follow-up story. When you have something that drops that big, to the follow-up is what people are looking for, and that can be difficult. But I think he'll do fine, because I've been following him now for the last few months, and I'm not sure when I first saw that story when he went to El Salvador, but it was really good. I was really impressed with him. I subscribed to his channel right away, and I've been following him ever since. Now, this early show, of course, is brought to you by the next governor of Minnesota, Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow. There's huge sales going on, the New Year's sale. With my promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, you can just get incredible deals. And I want to thank all of you that have been using my promo code KANE at checkout at MyPillow.com. Please continue to do that, because in a week or so, I'll be talking with MyPillow to make their sponsorship permanent for the entire year next year for this early show and all the extras I've been bringing you. And whether they decide to continue to support this early pre-show all next year and all the other extras I'm bringing on my content will depend on the response they get to you from you out there. So please go to MyPillow, use my promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, for huge savings. Look at this. These are the New Year's sales. The 6-piece MyPillow towel set, $50 off, just $49.98. The MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets, just $29.98. I have the Giza Dream Sheets. It's the finest cotton in the world. No matter what the temperature is, like it's been cold here in Florida lately, for us, keeps me warm and cozy. During the hot summer months, perfectly cool and comfortable. It's the finest cotton in the world, and they're 100% Giza cotton. The premium MyPillow, which is an upscale version of the MyPillow. Like if you were to stay at Mar-a-Lago, this is what you'd have. I have this as well. It's amazing. The cover is the Giza cotton, just $24.98. The 5-pack Bible Story pillows, just $29.98. Now remember, you can use my promo code KANE at checkout on all the specials at MyPillow.com, not just the ones I talk about. The MyPillow mattress topper, I have that. It'll change your life. Incredible deals on their blankets, on the slippers, many different types of blankets, the MyPillow quilts, even the socks. And you can use my promo code KANE site-wide, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. Also, the money-back guarantee is extended through March 1st. So it's a great deal. All right, now if you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's toll-free no matter where you're listening, 888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Oh, hey, Richie, hold on. Let me answer these phones. My phones are going viral right now. Okay, yeah, Richie, go ahead.
You know how screwed up this country is? I think you really know how screwed up this country is. When you have, first of all, did you see that when Nick Shirley was with his mother, that was in New York when they were showing all the money being spent on the hotels with the immigration.
That was a good one, too.
You saw her. You saw his mother. That was his mother, the blonde-haired lady.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was his mom. Now, he was like, at that time, he was like, 21, 20? He was just,
yeah.
So she was with him in the early years of him getting serious. She's basically chaperoned him. Now I'm going to say this: we're not looking the story is that the mainstream media hasn't said a peep.
No,
because the mainstream media is in the pocket of the Democratic Party and the candidates that are running for the Democratic Party. Some of that money went to Somalia. More of that money went over to the state of Washington, all the way from Minnesota to Washington for Democratic candidates. Mm-hmm. This is a money laundering operation. It's beyond comprehension.
Oh yeah,
beyond. You can't even make. That's
Absolutely.
what this is, and that's why you don't see. That's why you don't see the mainstream
we're
media
basically. That's true. We're basically funding all of Somalia. A big chunk of it's going to Somalia, and money goes really far there. But you know, the buck stops with Tim Walz, and when the radio show starts in a little bit. I'm going to talk about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. There is no reason why Kash Patel has not taken a team to Minnesota and hauled Tim Walz in for questioning. No reason.
Exactly right. This is, it's cover thy behind, or whatever you want to say. I don't want to say the word on the air. Cover your behind is what they all do in Washington, D.C. A lot of hearings, a lot of talk, a lot of going nowhere. You have 3 FBI directors before him that sat back and saw all this corruption. Nobody did nothing. Can you imagine what California is going to look like when this is all over?
Oh yeah.
And we're writing. You work hard for your money.
That's right.
I'm on a fixed income. The people are out there are paying taxes, and every year I think, oh my God, income tax. You have to pay. Now, isn't it a great thing to know that your tax money is going to people that came to this country more than 10 years ago? Actually, I think the Somalians came to Minnesota. What was it, like 15 years ago?
Well, Michael Knowles did an incredible report a couple weeks ago on the history of Somalians in America. In 1990, there were only 2,100 Somalians in all of the United States. 2,100 in all of the United States. Let me answer. I'm going to answer these lines while I'm talking to you. I mean, think about that. And then in '93 is when the big rise happened with Bill Clinton.
Now, here's the deal, folks. 82% that have been here for 10 years or longer are on government subsidy.
Yeah, and all their kids have autism. Imagine that.
All their kids have autism. They can't work because they have bad backs, bad everything. They're all here on the dole.
Yeah.
80s, and that's only the ones that are actually going there collecting their check. Mm-hmm. And then we have the empty school buses with just the drivers. We have the Medicare buses that are taking empty patients to no doctors.
Hold on, Steve's calling me. I got to take a break anyway. So you can call back later. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Hello? I'm already on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's up? No, wait for Youngerman. All right, you going to come on today? Okay, all right, I'll talk to you then. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane. Just called there to find out what time I was going on. And I said, I'm already on, Steve. He says, you're on early. I said, that's right. All right. Richie's phone was cutting out anyway. All right, let's go. Take another call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi. Good morning. Happy New Year, Brian.
Thank you.
Danielle from Michigan.
Hey, Danielle.
I just wanted to, hello. I love when Richie calls in. I just wanted to make a comment in regards to what you're covering with Nick Shirley and everything. I'm just loving watching what's happening, Brian, and it's all coming out. I mean, it might not be as quickly as we would like, but I appreciate you keeping on it and covering it. I do truly believe that justice is coming, and I think there's probably a lot more, obviously, that's happening behind the scenes, but this is huge, Brian.
Oh, yes.
This is, and I'm encouraged, and I love listening to you, how you're covering this. I'm so encouraged by everything that's happening, and I'm just thankful for President Trump, and I'm thankful for the way that you are shining the light on all of this. But this is major. This is beyond. I don't want to say that I'm freaking out with everything that's coming out, and like Richie was talking about Washington and what they're doing with all this money. But this is going to only help us in the midterms. These people are going down, I believe.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt that's going to help because, when we get into next month, there are investigations. Kristi Noem had Homeland Security investigators on the streets in Minnesota yesterday questioning people in Minneapolis, Somalians. So, next year, this is going to be one of the biggest news stories of 2026.
It's not going away, Brian, and keep shining the light and keep hammering on this. And I'm telling you, this is major. There's going to be some major, everybody better buckle up because there's going to be some major things happening. I know we talk about cash and Pam maybe not going fast enough, but I did hear something yesterday.
What'd you hear?
Perhaps
What'd you hear?
Well, I was listening to, Andrew Kovett on Kirk's show. He was talking to somebody, and I forget. Subpoenas have already been issued. I mean, there are things that are happening that we don't know about that are coming out that are major. That's what I heard.
Let me give you a second while I answer these lines. As much as I would like to believe that, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel have been in place for most of the year, and we got nothing.
Well, they're busy. Look at everything that's going on. I'm just going to kind of stay more on the optimistic end of it. I get what you're saying totally. I'm a little bit frustrated. All of us are, but I truly believe. I tell you that Nick Shirley and his mother, boy, kudos to them. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
I think there's big stuff coming, Brian.
I hope you're right.
Stuff.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. My name is Terry, calling from Kentucky.
All right, Terry in Kentucky.
Yes, sir. Hey, just wanted to, re-shine the light that you've already shown and continuing to speak on the Somalis and these different folks that are coming in illegally and are here forever. It seems like I've seen them on several different fronts. I protected our country for them, from them or from themselves, I guess, and their own country when we had our wars against them when I was in the military. But plus, I drive a truck now and a semi truck, and all of these meat processing plants are full of them. They're everywhere, and I've seen it firsthand in Minnesota.
What's in the meat processing plants?
The Somalis.
Oh, they come
in by busload.
Really?
Yes, they come in busloads.
Those must be the unfortunate Somalis who are not part of the Medicare Medicaid fraud in Minnesota. They have to actually work.
Right. It's good to see they're working, but it's bad to see that. Maybe they're taking jobs from our people. I don't know. But it's
stealing jobs, stealing money.
Trump's going to get it cleaned up. Our president's going to get it cleaned up. I just hope that And we're gonna get to the polls, and we're gonna get in MAGA again and again and again. And by then, it'll be so far deep ingrained into the souls of America that we'll have to keep it clean, and nobody can overturn it with a pen from then on.
All right. Well, good.
I
agree with
appreciate you.
Are you new to the program?
No, I've called a couple of different times.
All right. Yeah, you're a good call. You should call more often.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Take care. Now, the rest of you on hold, hang in there because we're going to be on the radio in a couple of minutes. And I'm not going to take any more calls till the radio show begins. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. No, I have 100% confidence in President Trump. Now, I will go over that story again later on Nick Shirley because it has to be exposed and it has to be discussed. So we'll get into that. Let me check the time here when we're going to be live on the radio. I took the break when I wasn't going to because Steve had called. Steve was just calling to find out what time I was going on. And I said, I'm already on. He's like, okay. Oh, man. So, yeah, this is really amazing. Did you guys catch the press conference with the president and Netanyahu yesterday? I carried it on my podcast, and he told Iran that if they're building up something, they better not. They better stop. All right, we've got about 90 seconds until the show starts. If you're on hold, hang in there, and we'll go to the calls when we get back. But I got a lot to cover today. But I'm going to start with, okay, I'm going to continue with the Minnesota discussion. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right, we got just over a minute, and we'll be live. Just over a minute, and we will be live on the radio. So I'm going to wait till then I'll open up the radio show. Yes. Let me know in the chat where you're all watching from. What city or state or country? City, state, or country? I'm curious. And how long you've been listening to me or watching me, too, if you don't mind. Little end of the year survey. City, state, or country, and how long have you been watching me? Whether it's 26 years or 6 minutes, it doesn't matter. All right, here we go. Less than 30 seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Callers on hold, stand by. We got a lot to cover. We got many things to discuss today, but I'm going to start with Minnesota because it's just insane what's going on. Nick Shirley dropped his viral story on Friday, and it's changed everything. And I am not alone with this. Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. I want to ask you about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. What's going on here? You know, the Somali. This is something that you got to understand about the Somali fraud. I don't blame them. This is a organized criminal operation put together by the Democrats and supervised and overseen by Tim Walz, allegedly based on all the information that's come out, right? These Somalis didn't set up a $9 billion, and it's bigger than that, I'm sure. We know of $9 billion, and it's in multiple states. So, you know, the Somalis didn't come here from that prehistoric anarchy that they're from, that uncivilized country of Somalia, and set up the largest complex financial system and scam and scandal and fraud operation in the history of the planet Earth. This is the Democrats are behind all of it. And there is no reason, in my view, why Kash Patel doesn't take a team of FBI agents to Minnesota and haul Tim Walz in for questioning. They have the documents. Nick Shirley has the documents. And go over these. Question him. Find out what's going on. Who's responsible for oversight? They have autism centers with no autism patients. They have these child care centers with no children. They have these transportation systems the government's paying for without transporting anyone. They don't even have drivers. They have vehicles just in parking lots covered in snow right now. Why haven't they done that? Now, there's a couple of possibilities, and I'm going to throw, and maybe there's others other than these, but I want to ask you your thoughts on this. Pam Bondi, who came up through the Bush family. Now, when she came up through the ranks, Jeb Bush was governor and all of that. Is Pam Bondi working with the rhinos, the Bush wing of the Republican Party? And is she making sure that nothing happens? We haven't gotten anything. Those indictments that we're having difficulty with on Comey and Letitia were not because of her. That was because of the other girl that Trump brought in, Harrigan. Pam Bondi hasn't gotten any indictments against the lawfare people that we need. Comey, Letitia James Clapper. So is she slow walking this because she's working for the Bushes? Or is she incompetent and doesn't know what she's doing? And she's gotten by on being a good-looking blonde. I don't know. It's got to be one or the other. Kash Patel. What's the deal with him? Roger Stone said, I saw today on X, that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are doing a good job on the regular crimes at the FBI, right? That you've seen, like, the child traffickers and such. But what are they doing for these lawfare people? So Kash Patel, yeah, you got that sports betting thing going on. What's up with Kash Patel? Now, my working theory through these last months of disappointment with Kash Patel is that he doesn't know what he's doing. That he hyped up his resume and he's got a job that he doesn't know how to do. I don't care that he's moving out of the FBI building. That's nice, but that's the least of the things that we needed him to focus on. So why are they not? Does he not know what he's doing? Or is he working for the establishment? Or are these two scared? What do you think's going on here? Because I've lost complete faith in Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. I think that those of us that are MAGA have been more than patient. Now, this story with Tim Walz isn't one of the Democrat Party insiders like Comey in the deep state in the Beltway. He's connected. He was their vice presidential nominee. Why? And I know that there's FBI agents looking into this and Homeland agents looking. Why have they not hauled Tim Walz in for questioning? To go over the Nick Shirley documents, at least. Why have they not done that? Remember when Blagojevich was accused of selling the Obama Senate seat? Obama was senator when he got elected president, and the governor, Blagojevich, got to appoint the replacement to finish the term. Remember that? He appointed a guy, and he went to prison because he had taken a donation, and they said he sold the seat, and they wouldn't even seat the guy he appointed as senator. Remember all that? He showed up in D.C., and they wouldn't swear him in or seat him. They didn't waste time on that, and he went to prison. So what's going on here with Kash Patel and Pam Bondi? I am as serious as a heart attack about this. I mean, how much, how long can we say, well, the indictments are coming, the grand juries are in place? This is clear as the day is long in Minnesota with Tim Walz. And I know I'm hearing, the Congress, they're going to have some hearings and there's going to be criminal referrals. The criminal referrals go to Pam Bondi. What good does a criminal referral to Pam Bondi do? Anyone. They don't seem to do much at all. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. If you are on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones after our first break. Okay, we're getting ready to go to break. The number is toll free, 888-465-2631. It's a toll free call no matter where you're listening. 888-465-2631. Something's wrong here. This is off. This is not right. The evidence is clear. From the lawfare people, the Comeys and Peter Strzok and all those guys, to this. And I know a lot of people say Pam Bondi was Florida Attorney General for 8 years. She got experience. I don't remember one thing she did as Attorney General for 8 years, other than look pretty. So, and maybe some Floridians out there, you may have some memories that I've forgotten. I forget things sometimes. Covered a lot of stuff, covered a lot of stories. What was the major thing Pam Bondi did as Attorney General of Florida for 8 years? That was outside the normal course of what Attorney Generals would do. Anyone got any ideas on that? All right, you want to hold standby. The number is 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. You could get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. He has thousands of good used tires in stock for as low as $35 a tire out the door and on the road. Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance your tire, mount your tire, or dispose of your old tire. There's no added fees. When you call Friendly Mike, the price he gives you over the phone is out the door and on the road. He also does tire repairs. He can get tires for any type of vehicle you have. I was talking to him the other day. He got a donut spare tire for somebody. Came in for a donut spare. People, you want to have a good spare too. He can get all the name brands you know and love: Firestone, Bridgestone, Pirelli, whatever you like, Goodyear, whatever brand you like, he could get those too. Steve Kane's wife got 4 new tires for less than what the other place, a lot less than what the other places wanted just for 2. Give Friendly Mike a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. Call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our first break and be right back with your calls. All right, we're clear. Yeah. I'll take the calls when we get back. Tell me in the chat, and I would like you to call me too, what you think's going on with these two. Incompetent, working for Jeb. What's going on here? What is going on here? Or something else that I haven't thought of. Because there's something not right here. I'm sorry to tell you, there's something that's just not right. All right, we'll be back in about 90 seconds. It's still a radio station break. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're watching. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Just over a minute, and we'll be back. And I'll go to the phone. I will be live all week, including New Year's Day, guys, okay? About a minute, we'll be back. Yeah, I'm not going to take off at all this week. I may not be on the radio live at the end of the week, but I'll if I'm not on the radio live, I will be here live. I saw a psychic on YouTube talk about they were contacted by Adam the Woo. And the first thing out of the guy's mouth showed that he was making it up. Maybe I'll mention it a little later. All right, stand by. About 15 seconds. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Friedrich. I'm from Germany, and I wanted to ask you some questions. First of all, can we agree that pedophiles are bad?
No, I'm not answering your questions about any of that. I'm certainly not going to take a call from Germany and have a German pass moral judgment on our great country with the history of your country. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, good morning. JP, I'm a bond trader from Chicago. I live here in Pompano Beach. So glad that to get on. Listen, let me tell you something. You're exactly right. It's very interesting about this Pam Bondi and Kash Patel thing, but let me tell you something. This goes deep. Joe Biden's fingers and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer's fingers are all over this, and the Democrats. I mean, this is the biggest scheme, and I hope it cracks before these midterms, because there is no way in hell that they can put anybody up to run against Vance and Rubio if Trump doesn't get the third term.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. These people have said, well, when it comes to Comey and Brennan, it's the deep state, and they're scared. While Waltz is obviously connected, he was their vice presidential nominee. He's not in the Comey
Oh, he's
group.
the front man.
Yeah, he's not, but he's not the untouchable like a Pelosi would be. There's no reason for them not to haul him in for questioning already with Nick Shirley's report.
I agree 100%. Why haven't they yet?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Are they incompetent?
Okay.
Or is Pam Bondi working for the Bushes and slow walking everything because she's given us nothing?
Boy, that's an interesting concept.
Well, what would be your guess?
That's a very interesting concept. My guess. Well, I don't. I'll tell you what my guess is. I'll tell you what I know and I think, because I've been a bond trader in Chicago for 44 years at one of the major exchanges. I'm not going to say which one. I like to keep a low profile. Okay. Mm-hmm. I went to school at University of Miami back in '74. I studied law, finance, and economics. I studied enough law. I didn't want to bury my nose in a law book all my life. I'm just saying there are fingers in this pie.
Well, hold on. I got to answer these lines while we're talking. There's fingers in the pie. There's no doubt about it. But we've seen. Look. The Senator Menendez just went to prison for bribery, right? It was his second arrest and trial for bribery. I was talking about there have been at least two former governors of Illinois that went to prison. They were in prison at the same time. Blagojevich was governor and was removed and sent to prison.
Rob Blagojevich, who you just mentioned, and all he did was,
sell a Senate
Well,
seat.
he did. Yeah. Well, anyways, they got him, but these networks are glossing all this over because I'm going to tell you, you know what's going to hit the fan here. And another thing, too, I think they should bring back public hangings. They should get Comey.
You were doing fine until you went to that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Right, hold on. I'm answering lines here. My phones are going viral. Yeah, go ahead, Texas.
Hey, man. How are you this morning?
Hold on again. Okay. Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, look, I just wanted to say something. You was talking about Cash Patel and Pam Bondi. Mm-hmm. The reason they're not, because, see, Brian, when you looking outside the house and you, I'm going to do this, and then when you get in there, you realize, maybe I can't do what I think I can do. And Pam Bondi and Cash Patel are not going to risk their careers. And because they see what happened to several people that lost their licenses behind that. And they're not going to risk their careers. Because before they do something, they're going to make sure it's done correctly. And that's the whole thing about it. They're just not going to half-heartedly do it. We're going to indict them. They're just like James Comey and Letitia James. They hurry up and try to indict them. And
well,
what happened with those
there's a problem with Cash Patel and Pam Bondi. You're a regular liberal caller to the program, and you're making excuses for them. What does that tell us?
I'm not making excuses.
Yeah, you're making excuses for Pam Bondi and Cash Patel, and you're a Trump-hating Democrat. Isn't that something, guys? Think about that. You and the listening audience. I'm talking to the audience about you. What does that say about Pam Bondi and Cash Patel?
I think what that says about them is they're not going to risk their careers. Because at the end of the day, Trump is a billionaire. When Trump, in 3 more years, if Trump leaves the White House...
Then you don't take the job. You know, a lot of people believe that Pam Bondi a lot of people believe Pam Bondi took the job to undermine Trump. You know, President Trump has not been able to... His first term, this term, he's had nothing but bad luck with attorney generals. They've all sucked.
I think they took the job because she thought maybe she can do some different. Then when she get there, she realized... What has she done? It's not what I don't know, because the problem is when she gets there, when you get there, you realize, maybe this is not what I'm thinking it is. Okay, I'm not going to risk my career because at the end of the day.
So what do you think about that? What do you think about your Democrat leadership in Minnesota involved in this $9 billion Medicaid fraud?
If they are guilty, they all go to jail.
Well, you've seen the story in the news. Does it look like they're guilty to you?
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, if you don't know, I can't talk to people that don't know. I mean, it's the most viral news story in history. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Randy from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Hey, I got a question for you. You know, I've been listening to you for a long time, years. You're kind of, I'm kind of getting the feeling that you don't trust Pam Bondi and Cash Patel.
Not anymore.
Don't you think you're starting to sound a little bit like Tucker Carlson? Always said.
Nope.
You always said trust Trump. Don't you think Trump knows what's going on with Pam Bondi and Cash Patel?
Trump has on multiple occasions called Pam Bondi out on truth about these very same things. Where's the indictments? Where's the arrest? He's done this more than once on Truth Social.
Yeah. He's made a couple comments, and I agree with that.
So I do trust in Trump, absolutely. You know, Trump has hired 10 to 20,000 people in his second term. He's hired 3 people that are total screw-ups. Everybody else has been perfect. Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, and Bongino, who's running for the hills right now, who resigned.
Well, he wasn't fired. He's actually having marital problems.
I don't know about that.
Well, I know about it, but anyway.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You do know that there's 500 quick response teams from the military that are going to be fully activated January 1st.
What do you mean?
Pete Hegseth has put together 500 quick response teams, and they're supposed to be fully activatable January 1st.
Inside the United States?
Yeah, and
so how would you know about a classified operation like that?
What do you mean, a classified operation?
They're going to activate the U.S. military in the homeland and do what with it? Not the reserve, not the guard. You're talking about the regular army.
Yes.
And do what?
Civil unrest is what Pete Hegseth.
Okay, appreciate the call. My goodness. What Pete Hegseth, oh my goodness. I don't know, is that guy paranoid or what? All right, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour break. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. I've got a lot to cover. I still want to hear your thoughts on Pam Bondi and the Kash Patel situation. 888-465-2631 is the number. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Sometimes, not maybe, always. God said yes. He never rejects, only directs and redirects. Author Gaten Glover Sr. This isn't just theology, this is life-changing. Discover how this perspective can transform your job search with confidence that God's affirmative answer is already unfolding. Strengthen your faith during health crises and personal challenges. Guide your parenting through disappointments with renewed wisdom. Navigate ethical decisions at work with spiritual clarity. Revitalize your Monday mornings and reconnect with your purpose. Whether you're a new believer grappling with faith, a longtime Christian facing spiritual burnout, someone in a season of doubt, a parent, professional, or seeker, you need this fresh lens on God's will. Through biblical narratives, personal stories, and theological insights, explore how God communicates with you, always aiming toward your ultimate good and growth. Find peace, discover purpose, experience God's yes. Available now. God said yes. He never rejects, only directs and redirects. From author Gaten Glover Sr. There's also a study guide that comes with the book that you can download. A transformative guide for your spiritual journey. Peptide research is exploding, and GLP-1 is leading the charge. Across the country, researchers are exploring metabolic, regenerative, and cellular repair models like never before. And MyPurePeptide.com, based in Dallas, Texas, they supply high-purity, lab-verified peptides for controlled research environments. Whether your work involves GLP-1 metabolic studies tied to weight and energy balance, cellular health modulation models, or tissue repair pathways, MyPurePeptide.com is committed to supporting your research with clarity and consistency. Visit MyPurePeptide.com and use code DALLAS to save 25% on your order. For research use only. MyPurePeptide.com. On the line, we have Louis. He had some issues with some taxes in past years, and he called Jamie Lee back over at Swift Tax, and Jamie took good care of him. Louis, welcome to the program. Well, thank you. How you doing today? Oh, I'm doing great. So tell me how Jamie from Swift Tax helped you on your taxes. Well, I was having trouble with another company. I called Jamie in Bingo. The next day I had a meeting with him. The next day I brought my wife in there with all the paperwork and straightened all my back taxes out. And I'm actually getting money back now. Wow, this is pretty amazing. So this other company you went to told you you owed the government money, and Jamie over at Swift Tax took a look and found out that not only did you not owe money, you're getting money back from the government? Yes, I got like 6 cents. Wow, that's amazing. Do let Louis call Jamie Lee back over at Swift Tax. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587.
All right, we'll be back in 1 minute, less than a minute actually, on the radio. We're still in radio station break. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, okay? And if you would like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Show's going by fast. Been on a little over an hour already. All right, 20 seconds. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Welcome. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, you're welcome to continue to call in about Minnesota, Cash, and Pam Bondi and what's going on with them. And I do have more that I want to get to. But CNN had an amazing poll. And let me just share this. This is CNN and top choices for the 2028 GOP nominee. And the choices in the poll were J.D. Vance, Nikki Haley, or Tulsi Gabbard. All right, here's the choices. Listen, CNN. Okay, now again, that was a New Hampshire poll. Nikki Haley is barely even, she's only 9 points ahead of me. And Tulsi Gabbard, I like Tulsi Gabbard a lot. However, she's a lifelong Democrat, and we don't know enough about her, and I don't know if I would trust her to take over MAGA. But Vance is certainly in line as the political apprentice to be the second MAGA president. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Adam from New York.
Hey, Adam, what's up?
Hey, Brian. Yeah, I believe it's that Jeb Bush is working behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jeb, he's never gotten...
President Trump, he needs to get rid of everybody that's Jeb Bush, Susie Wiles.
Susie Wiles is doing a great job. She had a little bump with the Vanity Fair piece, but she's doing a great job.
That's what you think.
Well, what is she doing? What is she doing that's bad? What's Susie Wiles doing that's bad?
Jeb Bush. She used to work for Jeb Bush.
No, she was.
He needs to get rid of all.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Steve Bannon back.
Hold on a second. Susie Wiles was a big, fundraiser person.
She's a fat pig.
Really, that's how you talk about women who work for President Trump? Why do you talk about a woman like that, especially a grandma? What's the matter with you?
Judges,
excuse me, no. Why would you? Excuse me. Why would you say that about the top? President Trump chose her. You support President Trump? Do you support President Trump? What's with the silence now?
I used to support him.
You used to support
I don't
him.
know anymore.
Okay, you used to support him until when? When did you stop supporting him?
Well, when he's allowing these judges let these violent criminals out, these illegals out.
He's allowing... hold on a second. Slow down.
Yeah.
He's allowing judges to do what?
Well, you didn't see the news about 2 weeks ago?
No. You said that you used to support Trump. Now you don't. What was the moment when you said, I'm not going to support this guy?
He's allowing these judges to get away with allowing the illegals in this country.
What authority does excuse me.
What's going to happen
excuse me. What authority?
I'm going to start my own party, my own government.
Okay, good.
And then you'll see.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
That
what
last
authority?
caller there that you
Excuse
hung
me,
up
I'm
on when he
speaking.
started-
I'm speaking. What authority? What authority does the president have? Oh, he hung up. See, let me tell you guys what's going on here. These people, I don't do this with every caller that pulls this because I'd be doing it too much. But I'm going to stop down for a moment. You hear me talk about the seminar callers, which was a term coined by the late, great Rush Limbaugh. And seminar callers, for those that don't know, they're fake callers that the Democrats have call shows like this one to try to get agendas done, right? Get narratives going. And I don't do this with every time it happens, or it would be the whole show. But I've had 2, maybe 3 callers today that are seminar callers. Okay. I'm still got the last remnants of my cold, so my brain is only working at about 86% of its normal capacity, which still puts me ahead of these lefties that call in. And I'm behind on my coffee, so I haven't had my venti hot blonde Americano with 5 shots of espresso yet. I'm going to grab that during the break. And then I'll be fully caffeinated, so I'm under caffeinated right now. So I'm still well above these callers. However, what these seminar callers do is they call in and pretend to be MAGA. They supported Trump until, or that sometimes they still support Trump, and we got to do this. And did you see what they're doing? There were 3 of them actually. Each of them had an outrageous thing to do. I'm not going to repeat all of them. The last guy's going to form his own government, okay? His own government. And what they attempt to do, this is like the seditious 6, right? The seditious 6 was, a CIA op. Well, seminar callers are deep state ops, trying to get false narratives out there going. And they pretend to be us. Either they're us and they want to take things to the next level and suggest inappropriate things, or they used to be MAGA and now they're not. And they're going to do this because they supported Trump. Now, so far as the judges, the president has no authority over judges. There is an impeachment process inside the Congress, much like with a president, to impeach federal judges, but presidents have no authority over judges other than the appointment of federal judges. Okay? But you see what's going on here? It's really amazing. Okay, now yesterday, this is Fox News. Will Kane, who's become my new favorite over on Fox. You guys like Will Kane? He went through a little bit. Let me play this clip before we break. He went through the fraud operation in Minnesota. Mm. Wow. Okay, so here's the thing. While Ilhan Omar is at the top of this with Tim Walz, and she's Somali, so far as the rank and file Somalians that Nick Shirley uncovered, you're going to get very few. First off, they're not the problem. The problem are the Democrats, okay, who set this operation up for them. You're not going to get a mass arrest, trial, and conviction of the rank and file Somalians. You don't even want to go that route. The problem are the Democrats. And after the next break, I'm going to tell you why we're not going to get convictions in large numbers on the Somalians. Some, like Ilhan Omar, they will, but I'm talking about the people that own these. I'll tell you why after the break. But I believe that Tim Walz was picked to be Kamala Harris's running mate as a reward for what they view as his incredible success overseeing this fraud operation in Minnesota. They wanted to bring him to Washington, D.C. as vice president to take his operation, his fraud operation and theft ring in Minnesota to all of the 50 states, or at least the ones where Democrats are in control. That was the plan. That's why they picked him to be her running mate. Now we know, okay? This is all about the Democrats. And when I tell you you're not going to get convictions of the Somalians after the break, I'll detail what that's all about. But I want to take a moment to talk about your New Year's parties. There's no better place to get your food and cater your New Year's Eve parties than Wings Plus in Coral Springs on Sample Road. The wings are spectacular. You can get takeout any time of the day, or the day before even. When you go to Wings Plus on Sample Road in Coral Springs, get their 50-wing platters. They're amazing. Everything at Wings Plus is homemade. Nothing comes out of a can, including the delicious sauces. My favorites are the medium hot wings and the lemon pepper. Those are my two favorites. When you pick them up, if you pick them up early for your party, ask them the reheating instructions. They will give you the exact time and temperature to put them in their oven, and they come out just like they came out of the Wings Plus kitchen. Wings Plus is in Coral Springs, about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold, stand by. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to grab my coffee and get caffeinated, and we'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. We got about a minute, and we'll be back. Let me grab my coffee. I'm heating my coffee up in the microwave. It got cold. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, hey. Good morning, Brian. How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Joan in Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan. What's up?
I see YouTubers now going into Minnesota, like the places Nick Shirley went into, and now they're filming. The Somalis are busing children into the places that Nick Shirley went to.
I saw some of that. That makes them look more guilty, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
You know.
All of a sudden, there's children everywhere. And residents in the neighborhoods are saying they've never seen children there before, ever.
That's right. Correct. So, I mean, this is so bad. I mean, they got to do something. And you know what? They can't drag their feet. They got to do it now. They got to do it fast. We want something.
But you know, let me tell you, listen, here's the thing. You're right. I've seen some of those videos, and those are going semi-viral on social media. Two things. One, they're bringing kids into these child care centers for the first time. And then, which is totally insane. Then there's even more updates of Ilhan Omar's husband wiping the records of his venture capitalist company clean of all kinds of information. Both of these things show that
his office. Wait a minute. His office was one of those renter spaces for offices.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what these hold on a second. And what these things show us is that the guilty people are scared that the FBI's coming to round them up, and they're trying to cover up. The things that they're doing are things that they're doing in panic. Wiping the websites clean, like Ilhan Omar's husband is doing. Nothing is ever wiped clean from the internet. It's always there. And the thing with the kids, they're scared. They're afraid. They got caught, and they're afraid of being arrested now. Even Ilhan Omar's husband.
And somebody even showed that they're getting the people dropping off kids and stuff now, because they're all in on it. This whole community's in on it. They're walking out with envelopes. So
That's right.
Do you think's in the envelope?
Yeah, that's exactly right. EBT cards. I don't know. Money.
Cashola. Yeah, it's got to be cashola. You know?
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, Joan in Tampa Bay. Take care. Okay, good call. Good points. Thanks for reminding me of that. So I said during the break, the focus needs to be on the Democrats, not the Somalis. They just need to be deported, okay? You're not going to get arrest, trials, and convictions on the large scale of the Somalis. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. I mentioned this at the very end of yesterday's show, and I didn't have time to expand on this, okay? The Somalis are tribal. They're still tribal. Inside their tribal Somali community, there's tribes within the big tribe of Somalians. So you're going to have a hard time getting witnesses. That's one, but that's okay. We got the paperwork. But you're going to have a difficult time getting witnesses. Usually what you do in situations like this is you go to the lower level people that are working at the daycare with no children every day, or the autism center. You bring in the receptionist or something, you threaten them with prison, and they sing like a canary. That's not going to happen in this community. They're so tribal, and they rule with an iron machete, okay? So that's one problem. But the second problem they have is all of a sudden none of them are going to speak English. What do they speak in Somalia? Is it Somalian? Is that the language? There are not, and this is what would happen. I'm telling you, I've seen this happen before. There are not enough translators for their language to have large-scale arrest and trials of them. Most of the people that could translate the language are Somalian. And you know what? They're not going to translate. And these judges, what will happen with judges, Now, we might get some of these in front of Trump judges and things would go well. But what will happen is, even if they speak fluent English with an accent, none of them are going to speak it. You have to have translators on both sides. This is the way the law works. You have to have translators on both sides that can properly translate everything, every step of the way, during every criminal procedure, not just through every trial for both sides, every deposition, everything that's done. The documents and everything else have to be translated into their language so that the defendants can have them. So that would get them off the hook. I've seen this happen before. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I mentioned it to a caller at the end of yesterday's show. If you missed that, you can go back and hear it. And I even then gave a real capsulized version, but I don't really want to get into all of it too much. It's been many years, but there was a crime ring in South Florida where there was a similar thing that happened, and I don't want to give too many details of it because these are dangerous, dangerous people. But that's what, and that was just a small handful of people in that case that I am familiar with. So the language issue would get most all of these cases tossed out for the inability to have a proper prosecution. I'm telling you, that's how it works. But they're not the problem. You just want to deport them. The problem is the Democrat Party set this whole thing up. You know, these facilities, whether it's the transportation or the autism center, the child care facility, the health care facility, none of them doing any work, they have oversight from local regulatory agencies. And they've been signing off on everything for years. But you're not going to be able to get most of these will not even go to trial because there are not enough translators to get the judges to take them to trial. I know that sounds nuts, and believe me, I'm the most positive thinking person you can ever meet, but I really am. My family might disagree with that sometimes. I'm talking about when it comes to news, issues, and politics. But that's the case with the Somalis. You just want to send them through the immigration process and deport them. The criminal prosecutions need to come at the Tim Walz level and the people around him, because that's where the real problems are, that the Democrat Party set this operation up. You just got to be, realistic. They want you to go at the way things are going. The Democrats are going to start giving the Justice Department Somalis to go after, knowing what I just shared with you. All right, the number is 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm from New Hampshire. How you doing?
All right, New Hampshire. What's on your mind?
I was just saying, you were talking about how the Somalians need the translators and why they won't get convicted. I'm kind of interested in that because it's funny. I don't understand how they can stop them from being convicted, even though that there's people out there right now, the FBI included, that are investigating these places that they have been taking advantage of taxpayers' money. I'm a conservative. I voted for Trump. And I mean, it's obvious that there's bad things going on, especially in Minneapolis and what is it, St. Paul?
Yeah.
And how do you stop these guys? I mean,
you gotta break. The operation is the Somalis are the worker bees. The operation,
right.
the criminal fraud operation that's in multiple states, by the way, is run by the Democrat Party.
I understand that.
So you go after the Democrat Party. You start with Tim Walz and work your way down. It's the Democrats.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying, but okay, I understand this. But what you were saying was that they can't go after them because they need translators and whatever.
They'll get them all thrown out of court, yes. I'll tell you real quick what happened, okay? I mentioned this to a caller at the end of the show. I'm not going to give too many details, but there was a major gambling ring that was done by foreigners that was uncovered by feds here in Florida about 30 years ago. And
okay, so you're at fault. Okay.
It wasn't European, and it was something I had knowledge of because it involved someone that was connected to. I used to work when I first started in radio. I had to have always had second jobs, and I worked at a law firm, okay, part time, doing courier work and stuff. And it was a case the lawyer was dealing with, and there were some other things involved. So I had knowledge. The lawyer's long dead and everything else, but I just don't want to get into the details of it. But they were Asian. It was a Chinese gambling ring.
Yeah, well, there's another problem.
And it was a Chinese gambling ring that was going on out of Chinese restaurants and other Chinese businesses, and they beat the case because some of them claimed to only speak a dialect of Chinese that was spoken in some region in China, and they didn't have translators. They didn't have enough translators to try them through the federal court system, and they got away with it. And with the Somalis, there's a similar problem.
Okay, so can I say something? Because I worked in Mexican restaurants. I've lived in Chicago. I live in New England now. And you know what? There were a lot of Mexican guys that would come and change their names. They would put different names. I actually got a check from the IRS because they screwed me on taxes, and they got deported. So
yeah, that's different. That's different. In Somalia, they speak. Wait
a minute. Hold on.
I'm almost out of time for the break, so I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Okay, please.
I'm almost.
Can I finish?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Here's the clock.
Okay. Well, if you let me speak? Well, the Mexicans came in. They opened a restaurant. It was cartel.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of illegal aliens working there, which not the first time I've dealt with again. Worked in Chicago.
Listen, I got to run. I don't know the relevance, but everybody speaks. You can find Spanish speakers. A lot of relevance. But I got to move on. But I appreciate the call. You can walk every 5 feet and find Spanish speakers. You can't find a lot of Somali translators. You just can't. It's not a common language. We don't learn it in school, and that's it. And that would foil a mass prosecution. And believe me, these Democrats know what I'm sharing with you. Okay, they know it. There are not enough Somali translators. Most of them are Somalian, and they're not going to translate against their own people. There were very few Somali translators in this country, or people that could do it that aren't Somalian. That's the way it is. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. It's 7 a.m. Back after this. Does that make sense to you guys? You understand what I'm saying? I saw this happen with this gambling ring. And that's just the way of it. I didn't mean to be short with him, but I had to break. Let's see. Okay. If you're on hold, stand by, guys. Okay. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay. Almost done. Are we back in about 30 seconds? If you're on hold, stand by. Hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
You know, what you're saying is very unfortunate that our court system could lose a case because they can't have somebody to translate. But I'm thinking that perhaps now, in this day and age, we have these automated translating machines that can probably do a reasonable job. So enough to let people know you stole and you got money. How hard could it possibly be? I'm hoping that the technology today will be able to convict some of these people.
Listen. You're dealing with a rare language spoken mainly by natives only.
Yeah.
Okay? See, let me tell you what happened. Okay, I'll tell you guys the story that happened because I gave a little bit of it today and a little bit of it yesterday. I'll tell you the whole thing. When I was first working in radio, before I was on the air, I was a board op, and I worked overnights.
Right.
And this was well over 30 years ago. The internet had not yet been invented. There was nothing, and we had an AP wire machine at the radio station, and it printed out news headlines 24 hours a day. And the overnight board op, part of the job, again, this was like 32 to 35 years. This was like 1990 or 91. I can't remember which year, but I know it was around that time because when I first started. And I, so we had this machine and it printed up the news on paper. Remember that? It was so long ago. Remember computer paper had those, it was green with those green and white sections and it had the holes in it that you used to feed the printer. Remember?
Yeah, wow.
It was back in those days. It was that long ago, okay? And it went off all the time from the AP. And the overnight board op, this was part of my training when I got hired, was at a certain time in the middle of the night. I can't remember what time it was. It's been 35 years, right? 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, whenever it was. One of the personalities who was a big-time personality in the Miami radio market would call in the middle of the night off the air to get the sports scores. Okay? And you had to give them the sports scores.
Okay.
And I wondered what it was about, but the guy, I didn't think too much of it because I was new. I was just glad to have the gig. And the person was a pretty big personality, pretty famous in the market, in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach radio market at the time. So, I was like 19 or 20. To me, it was weird. but it was a networking opportunity. And someone told me, oh, he's got, he gambles a lot. So, you could get this. There was no, back in 90 and 91, you couldn't get the sports scores that quick. Not all at once on one paper, right? So I'd have to print them up. Yep. I would read them to him, and he would write them down every night. And it wasn't, and this went on before I was the board op before me, and I'm sure the board op after. And then a few years go by, and there was a big gambling ring busted that he was connected to. Okay, this was in the early 90s. Okay, and I also did some part-time work as a courier, because in my board op days, I always had a second job as a courier for a law firm. And they had a connection somehow to this case, probably because I got the job through somebody I met at the radio station. So there was, they hired them for part of the, somebody involved in the case hired them. The entire case got dismissed. It was a Chinese gambling ring that was going on in the back room of Chinese businesses all over the place. And there were people who, let me answer these lines while I'm talking to you. Some of the principles that they needed for the case claimed to only speak a dialect of Chinese that was spoken in one region of China, and this was a federal case. They had no translators for that language. The case got tossed. Now, it may have been more complicated than that. I wasn't on the inside. It wasn't the highest profile case in the news. It was 35 years ago, but I remember all that clearly, and I remember the lawyers laughing at their ingenious tactic to get the case tossed of clearly guilty people. And I knew they were guilty because I was, the thing with the AP Wires story, right? Every night with the sports score, you couldn't. And back in before the internet, you couldn't you're getting the scores all at once on one printout. You couldn't get it even off television like that back then. For the whole country, for every team, and for every sport, every season. I don't know why they didn't get an AP set up in the back room of their house, but this person, I guess, was too cheap to do that. So what I'm telling, isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? You guys think you guys think you know everything about me. I haven't shared all my life, but and so with the Somalis, you've got even a bigger problem. Okay, you've got boy, oh boy, that brings back some memories now because I haven't thought about that in years. You've got a rare language with a tribal people. Number one, you're not going to be able to get any witnesses. No one is going to, no lower level people are going to give you any statements. None of them. They're going
to stick together for sure.
They're going to stick together because they're tribal and they don't want their head cut off. Okay. Yep. So if you could get some trials done, but if you went into Minneapolis and did a mass arrest of all these people that Nick Shirley exposed, there aren't enough translators. Look, they had a Democrat judge, tossed out a guilty verdict. A full jury came back with convictions, and a Clinton judge threw it out the other day. You saw this in the news? You understand what I'm... So you're dealing with that. Plus
corrupt,
plus this translator issue. And believe me, I can't imagine there are more than a dozen people in the country that are not Somalian that are qualified to translate. You have to translate every stage of the prosecution, every deposition, every document, everything. Okay? This isn't Spanish, it's Somalian. So they'll use that to stop it all.
I find that very, very, very troubling that you can get, if somebody speaks a language that nobody knows, they can get away with whatever they get away with, man. That's the court system has to figure something else out.
Well, but it's not, this isn't normal. When, look at this idiot mayor of Minneapolis. He's up there eating the Somalian food that you can tell he thinks tastes like garbage. You can see on his face. He was. I saw a video of him this morning dancing. I saw him give a speech in Somalian. Okay, over the weekend. When this Clinton appointed judge threw out a verdict that the jury came back guilty on, how are you with this? And you factor in this. These people don't care about the law. So even if, so this language thing, that would be their last straw to get rid of it. So prosecuting on a large scale the Somalians ain't going to happen. You just got to deport them all. Focus,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be. Unfortunately, like we all know, the Democrats don't need to have to follow the law for some reason. They get away with everything, and they rig everything, and they cheat, they lie. But this is the system, and unfortunately,
That's right. It's the system. Correct.
The system is messed up, man. I know President Trump wants to fix everything, but man, it's going to take 2 lifetimes to fix everything. That's how bad it is. It makes the mafia look like nice guys.
I mean, how many
Democrats
people do you think could translate Somalian in this country that are not Somalian?
Yeah.
5, 10, maybe?
I would, maybe 10, and they won't do it because, like you said, they're afraid for their life.
That's right.
This is not going to.
They'll wake up up decapitated.
Yeah. The only thing I say is I'm hoping that there's some sort of a machine that can do it, and hopefully
that wouldn't hold it. They would contest that in courts for years about that because who gave the you could find good translations for the major languages of the world, but you're talking about almost Somalian is so tribal, it's practically a dead language. So if only that one group speak it.
What happened?
So if you said, okay, we're going to use the translator app, they would tie that up in court for years just with the programmers. It's just not, and the problem's the Democrats. So no, that's not the way to go. I know. Hey, listen, I want them to haul Tim Waltz into questioning today at the FBI field office in Minneapolis. Okay, and let's get to the bottom of this. Forget about these Somalis. Let's just deport them.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping something will happen because to hear that you get away with a crime is really upsetting. Yeah. I mean, there really should be no way to get it. But this is that system, and it's so broken that I'm hoping that something will be done. But I don't know. Pam Bondi, I don't know if she can do it.
Pam Bondi, please.
I don't know, man.
She's useless. She's useless. All right, Doug, I got to run. Now, hey, make this the year that your New Year's resolution to lose weight actually comes true. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I'm going to give you the number in a moment. Call and schedule your no-charge consultation. They can help you no matter where you're located in the world. I lost over 35 pounds. My goal was just 25 pounds. I lost over 35 pounds. No shots, no pills, no Ozempic, none of that. No prescriptions, nothing. Eating foods I would normally eat. I didn't starve myself, and get this, I didn't do any exercise. That's why that I'm in the maintain phase. It's totally, I haven't gained back an ounce even through the Christmas and the Thanksgiving eating season. I haven't gained back a single ounce. Give them a call and schedule your no-charge consultation right now. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. Call us on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
Hello.
All right, you there?
Yeah, Steve, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold. I'll be right back with you. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Those of you that are watching with the green wall behind me, if you want to see and hear all the audio and video I play and get the imagery, the green screen, special effects, you got to go to my main live stream, which is linked in the description of the video, guys, okay? It's in the description of the video. Okay, stand by, guys. We'll be back shortly. Let's see. Okay. Okay, we got about 90 seconds and we'll be back. All right, Steve, you there?
I'm here.
All right, got a little less than a minute, so hang in there.
Okay.
All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve.
How are you this morning?
All right. Hope you had a good Jewish Christmas.
I had a wonderful Christmas. Everything was great until Doug got on the phone. Then everything went blank.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay.
It was a good call.
Oh, yeah. He's a great call, my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a good holiday?
I did. Hold on, Steve. The phones are ringing off the hook. Let me answer these lines, and then we'll get started. Everyone on hold, stand by. Yeah, of course. I had a great Christmas, and we got New Year's. Everything's going well. How about you?
Everything's going well. Going to be a great year.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to it. I've never seen things unravel so. Poor Democrats are in a state of shock.
By the way, I'm going to be, when we're on our cruise this year, news is breaking so fast. I'm going to do some broadcasting from the ship while we're at sea on the cruise this year.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, people don't, Christmas and New Year's week are usually just stories about gas prices is the hardest news they get for the travel season. It's a dead news time over the holiday period. The whole month of December, the media shuts down, and we have multiple news cycles every day, even over the weekends, right after Christmas and before New Year's. I've never seen it like this before, ever. Even in Trump's first term, it wasn't this heavy.
It's unbelievable. But again, you can see Trump's hand working behind the scenes, everything playing out perfectly, and Trump has orchestrated the whole thing. I think it's terrific. Well,
this Medicaid fraud story that Nick Shirley broke out of Minnesota with Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar, this is not only is it the largest financial scandal in history, it's going to be one of the defining issues in the midterms because.
Well, but the Trump administration has timed it that way. You
Yes.
understand that, right?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, the guy is a genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to get worse for them. And
absolutely, these bastards won't stand a chance.
And everything I'm seeing out of Minnesota, it looks to me that they're running scared. I was talking earlier, Ilhan Omar's husband. See, when Ilhan Omar, you hear the stories, oh, she was $45,000 in debt. Now she's worth $30 million. And she married this guy who's a white guy, which is totally out of character for her rhetoric, right? It's like Jasmine Crockett marrying a white guy, or Maxine Waters marrying a white guy. And I thought,
exactly.
when she married this guy, he was like a campaign guy, and I just assumed she married some rich guy. He was not wealthy when they got married. He became wealthy after he married her, and now they're worth $30 million, maybe more. And the stories over the weekend that have been breaking, he's got this fake venture capitalist firm. He's been scrubbing their website of names and connections and things from it, which is a panic move because you cannot erase anything from the internet. It is all archived online still. Anything you delete is still online. That's a panic move.
It's there forever.
Yeah. So what he's doing is a panic move. But it tells me that Ilhan Omar and her husband think that the feds are getting ready to bust in and arrest them and take the records. They wouldn't do something so stupid. Doing that to the website is a panic move. Then today, you'll see this on television today. If you haven't already, it'll be on TV. It's been on the internet since yesterday. All of a sudden, these childless daycare centers have children in them. The Somalians took kids for the first time to these daycare centers yesterday. That's a desperate move as well. Because
they're in deep trouble.
Yeah. So even in Minnesota, they're nervous. And I saw Tim Walz a couple times over the weekend, and he pulled out the real card of he said two things and at two different times. One, he said first he said, "Wow, this is white supremacy coming after these fine Somali people."
Right.
And then later yesterday, he said, "Well, white people do crime too. White people commit crimes too." So that's an acknowledgement of what's going on here. So everything I see out of Minnesota is fear that they got caught. But
I think that's true.
But I
think they got their butt in the rear.
And I was talking about this yesterday, but I'm not the only one who's talking about this. Now it looks like these assassinations in Minnesota could have well been over this Medicaid fraud operation that they got going. If you remember, Melissa Hortman was, remember that Democrat that wore the mask and assassinated those Democrats? The most high-profile one was Melissa Hortman, and she was in the Minnesota State Legislature. I can't remember if it was the House or the Senate, but she was in the Minnesota State Legislature, a Democrat. She's the one Democrat who crossed party lines and voted with Republicans to end Medicaid for illegals. And then she got herself assassinated by that Democrat in the mask who said Tim Walz sent him. So I think, and a lot of people are talking about those Democrat killings were because of the Medicaid fraud. So things, and now we're seeing that it's in different states, Ohio, anywhere there's Somalis, the Democrats have this operation going. And it's not looking good for them at all, which is good for us.
I would say they're in deep trouble as far as this election goes.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. All right, now if
that's what happens when you take on the master.
Well, they thought the Democrats were. They never imagined Trump would be coming back for a second and non-consecutive term. They never thought there'd be any accountability.
You think they're upset now? Wait till he announces for the next term.
Yeah, exactly. I want to talk a little bit, though, about Lighthouse Medical, who rid you of neuropathy. They are, miracle workers. Lighthouse Medical, I want you to listen to this closely. This is so important, okay? They have a treatment for neuropathy. They have a treatment for neuropathy that works. And they have a treatment for neuropathy that lasts, because you, Steve, had every neuropathy symptom in the medical journals, right? Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, dizziness, muscle twitching, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet, no feeling at all. Not only did Lighthouse Medical rid you of all of your neuropathy suffering, but here we are 3.5 years later and it hasn't returned. It's amazing. So if you or a loved one suffer from neuropathy, call them. By the way, they're located in Pompano, Lighthouse Medical, but they can help you no matter where you're located in the United States or in the world for that matter with telehealth, okay? Here's the number. Make sure you mention that you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. because then you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. We're going to take our break for the bottom. We'll be right back.
Hey, Brian Craig here. You hear me talk with attorney Barry Siegel every day about how we can help you and your family. Now here's one of our listeners, Janice, sharing her experience of how attorney Barry Siegel made a difference in her life and took a weight off her shoulders.
I was really looking for something to help me secure my holdings, which is actually not a whole bunch of bank accounts, savings, and a house and a car for my two daughters. I was worried that if I had just a regular will, things would get tied up and probate, and that would take 2 years. So I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call, and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice and assured me that they could help. I went over there and they sat with me, and we went over everything, and I ended up with this wonderful trust for my two daughters. So if something does happen to me, things just turn over to them, and it'll make it so much easier for them. And it took a great load off of my mind as to having to take care of my two daughters. I was very pleased with the attorney Barry Siegel. Finding him helped me assure that my two daughters will be well taken care of in the event that I won't be here.
Give attorney Barry Siegel a call right now. Toll free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. On the line, we have Jamie who's back with tax. Just joining us on the program today for the first time. Jamie, good morning. Morning, Brian. You're on the line. We have Lewis. He had some issues with some taxes in past years. He called you back over at Swift Tax, and Jamie took good care of him. Lewis, welcome to the program. Oh, thank you. How are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing great. So tell me how Jamie Swift Tax. Wow, this is pretty amazing. So this other company you went to told you you owed the government money, and Jamie over at Swift Tax took a look and found out that not only did you not owe money, you're getting money back from the government? Yes, I got a nice big check comes. Wow, that's amazing. Do what Lewis did. Call Jamie Lee back over at Swift Tax. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587.
All right, Steve, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be back shortly. Hold on. In about 45 seconds, we'll be back.
Okay.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Did you have something you wanted to get into, Steve? Because I got a few more things.
No. That's all. You can just
Okay.
pick up where you left
Well,
off.
I wanted to tell people, okay, that, you know, there's one phrase that people overuse that I've never liked, that this is the most important election of your life. You remember how many times have you heard that? Every election, right? And they always are the most important because it's the one you're dealing with now. But this midterm election, that has never been a truer statement, right? That this is the most important election. This is the most important.
That's true. It all goes away if we lose the House. It all goes away.
They'll impeach Trump every Friday. He'll be impeached, and then they'll do it again on Monday. You know, this is the most important midterm election in the history of, well, at least in my lifetime. You know, maybe since the Civil War with Lincoln. They had elections during the Civil War. For a number of reasons, you know, and the things that we're talking about will all come to an end. The entire government will be shut down. The economy will tank. They'll do everything they can do to stop everything. And 2026, you know, on this program, we are going to be covering, those of you that are new, you're not going to want to miss a day. Okay, we are going to be covering everything involving this midterm election next year, each and every day on this program, all year long. You won't want to miss a moment of it. It's very important. You know, this Minnesota thing we're covering now is going to get bigger. We'll be covering that, but there's going to be a lot more. You know, did you catch President Trump with Netanyahu yesterday?
Yeah, I saw parts of it.
You know, there was some big moments. There was a couple of press events, and you know, Netanyahu came to Mar-a-Lago yesterday, and then on Sunday, Zelensky came to Mar-a-Lago. And, you know, I mean, maybe I don't know if you agree or disagree with this, but Ukraine has lost the war. I mean, it's unwinnable for them. President Trump, he offered him something really, an incredible deal, Zelensky, over the weekend, which I'll tell you in a moment. But when he had the first meeting with Zelensky at the White House, where it got really nasty with Zelensky and JD and Marjorie.
I remember that. Embarrassing.
The reason that meeting became so heated is because President Trump and Zelensky had made a deal over the phone. Zelensky agreed to sign the mineral deal. And with the mineral deal, hold on, Steve, while I answer the phones. Okay, you back with me, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, what the mineral deal was, the minerals are in eastern Ukraine. Now, I don't know if that's still Ukraine or Russian-occupied Ukraine, where that was going to be, because they've advanced since then. I don't know. But the deal was, and Zelensky agreed to this, that the United States would get these mineral rights. And the point of it was not to get the minerals. President Trump even said, we have our own minerals. We don't need them. But what we'll do is we'll send American workers there with their families to work. And it would be almost like the DMZ in Korea, except it'd be civilians. And Russia is never going to advance and kill American civilians into Ukraine. And it was a brilliant idea. Zelensky said, deal. He got to Washington, he said no. So Trump was pissed. And that's why that blew up. Okay? And things have gotten worse. They're losing 25,000 people a week. I don't know if that's both sides total or what, but that's a lot of people every week. And then yesterday, hold on, Steve. Then yesterday, did you see the deal? Did you see what Zelensky was offered by Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Sunday, Steve?
But I didn't see that part.
No, because the media aren't promoting it. They don't want you to know. President Trump offered Zelensky an incredible deal, and Zelensky blew it. And we found out what Zelensky did yesterday when Netanyahu first arrived at Mar-a-Lago.
Again, he blew it?
I'll tell you what he did. It's appalling. Okay, here's the deal that Trump offered him. He told Zelensky, if you make a peace deal with whatever the border arrangements are, they're going to have to give up part of that land. I mean, that's just the way it is. That he would give Ukraine a 15-year security protection deal from the United States, meaning for the next 15 years, the United States militarily would back Ukraine against further Russian aggression. That's a pretty good deal. That would involve boots on the ground probably, or certainly NATO troops. Okay? So what happened? Ukraine launched a drone strike against Putin's home, his private home. And this was rumored yesterday, and the president confirmed it when Netanyahu first arrived at Mar-a-Lago. And he said Putin brought it up to him is when he first learned of it, because they had a phone conversation yesterday. And he said Putin obviously was fuming over it, rightly so. So in the middle of these peace negotiations, Zelensky attacked Putin's home with a drone strike. This is why President Trump didn't give them more of those Tomahawk missiles, because it would have been Tomahawks instead of drones. So Zelensky's not serious about peace. He doesn't want it. He's obstructing it. And what
do you think Putin wants? Do you think Putin wants peace?
No, but he'll come to some type of agreement, although it may only be temporary. It might be 6 months or 6 years.
He wants his kind of peace.
Well, that's it. President Trump has given Zelensky 2 incredible offers. He's blown them both. Okay? Both. The mineral deal and now this attack on Putin's home. You know? And Ukraine cannot win the war. It's lost. It's lost.
Yeah, but neither can Putin.
What are you talking about? He's already won it. He's winning and won it.
I don't see that. I don't see where you say that.
He's got Crimea, which used to be Ukraine, and he's got a whole bunch of eastern Ukraine already, and he's got this lunatic. They're both crazy. Putin and Zelensky are both crazy, but Trump has set up 2 pretty darn good deals for Ukraine, and Zelensky has blown both of them up. I mean, so Ukraine cannot withstand the war against Russia. They're losing more and more space. It's over. All right, you want to take some calls?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Interesting to see where our chronics are on this.
Hi, my name's Norm, and I'm calling from upstate New York.
Hey.
Hey, Norm.
How's it going? I talked with Brian a couple times before. We talked about how we thought Dan Bongino wasn't doing a whole heck of a lot. Then we talked about him involved with finding the January 6th pipe bomber. And I guess I'd like to hear you guys' take on Bongino now leaving.
On Bongino what? You cut out.
I'm on Bongino now leaving.
Well, I don't know that he's left or was fired. He was sidelined. A few months ago, he got sidelined. He threatened to quit a few months ago. He had gotten into a heated argument with Susie Wiles. It was widely reported, and Pam Bondi, and he made a threat, like either Bondi goes or I go. And then we didn't really see too much of him. He was sidelined. So I don't know if he's leaving or if he was fired and allowed to keep up the appearance.
I'll give you a more direct answer. I think he's been a disappointment. I don't think there's any question of that.
Yeah.
So where do we go from there?
Yeah, I mean, if he's not capable, then step out of the way and put somebody else in there.
Well,
you know what I mean? I mean, I really enjoyed watching his show for years.
Cash and Pam Bondi aren't doing much.
Yeah, they're not doing much either. I mean, that was the thing. The question I was going to ask next. Like, when is somebody going to get freaking arrested? Like, when are they going to arrest somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why hasn't this happened? Like, we are just seeing this, and we're just saying nobody's getting arrested.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You think this thing we're watching on the part of the FBI and the administration, do you think it's just random, the timing on these things? I get the feeling it's very carefully planned out, especially if you look at what's going on in Minnesota and this kind of stuff. I think it's all carefully timed to the election. I think there's no question of that. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I think they're like strategically pacing it out. It's like they're planning it out in steps, and you're like, why is it going to take like another 2 months? It's like every 2 months we get a little taste of something.
Well, I answered your question. Let me answer it again since you didn't seem to hear it. It's the timing. The administration is handling the investigations. So they are timing the investigations with the election for maximum impact. We agree on that, right?
I believe that for the most part, it does look like that.
Okay, so then thank you for your call.
Okay, well, listen, we're up against a break.
Thank you.
So I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll be back. The rest of you on hold, stand by. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold, and I got George Colony when we get back, so I'm going to keep you on hold, and when I'm done with George, I'll go to you. Okay?
Is it time for the gold report?
In an hour. We're an hour away from the gold report. Okay, hold on.
Oh.
All right, guys, stand by. Okay. Okay. Oh, man. If you're on hold, hang in there. We will go to the calls when we're back.
George Colony.
Hey, George, it's Brian. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. We have less than a minute, so I'm just going to keep you here. We got about 45 seconds, so we'll just roll into it. Yeah, we can do the same time tomorrow.
Okay.
Good. All right, stand by. 30 seconds. All right, we are back, and it's time to check in with George Colony. George Colony, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Brian Craig.
Man. How you been over the holidays? We haven't talked in about a week.
It's been an interesting week, Brian. Not the easiest week of my life, but it's certainly, I've been blessed, to tell you the truth.
Absolutely. So what do you have for us this morning, George?
Well, I'm thinking about resolutions that we all make at New Year's. And it is one of those times that we reflect on the previous year and we look forward to the things that we want to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And in my world, over the past couple of weeks, I've been hearing from people that, are getting ready for 2026. They're very excited about what's going to happen. We're excited about some of the things that the president has put in place because we are going to recover our country again. And when people are making resolutions about real estate, that first resolution, I hope, is for people to call me.
Yes.
Because I do have information that can help them. I've talked to a number of your listeners, and wow, they're all over the damn country. I didn't realize that you were heard all over the place.
We're
like
national,
this.
yeah.
You're national, all right, but. Yeah, I think that resolution time when we sit back and we say, this year I'd like to do what, or I'd like to accomplish what. And I think when it comes to real estate, a lot of times it might be just, getting your home ready to sell it or looking for a new place to buy. The changes that are coming in the financial side, and President Trump has talked about this year, he's going to do something to really help people with real estate needs. And I believe him. He's going to do something that's going to be great for us, and we got to be ready. So we'd make a resolution right now to be ready for when it comes.
Absolutely. And George Colony, you're not just a real estate agent. You're a successful businessman. And so when people call you, whether it's residential or commercial or business opportunity, like last week you were talking about Airbnb opportunities as an example. You're getting, when it comes to real estate, that's a major financial decision that you're making in your life, maybe the biggest you'll ever make, and it could be multi-generational as well. for your kids and grandkids, and you want to have someone that's not just a real estate agent, but a businessman who understands the real estate transactions from a way that regular people like me will never understand. That's what you get with George Colony. Well, George, let me give out your number. Now, this number rings directly to George Colony's cell phone, so you can call or text 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320. All right, George, we'll talk tomorrow.
Let's make it a great year.
All right, it sure will. Take care, George.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, and I just lost Steve Kane there. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe it. It just happened. Hold on, let me get Steve back. I'll do it live. What the heck? It's a holiday week, and I'll get Steve back at the same time. If you're on hold, stand by. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, Steve, I got you back. Okay. All right, you want to take some calls?
Sure.
All right. Let's go. I've lost track of what order people called in. That doesn't matter. We'll just go with the flow. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Vicky from Virginia.
Hey, Vicky.
Brian, I know you get frustrated a little bit with Cash Patel and Pine Bondi and so forth. Yep. I myself get frustrated with them. But sometimes when I sit back and think, the level of crime, fraud, and stuff, I have never, ever seen this level of it. I mean, and it's in all areas. I mean, you have the J6, you got the fraud in the election, you got Hillary Clinton, you got this one. I mean, it's so much. It's like going into a house infested with rats. And when you think you have cleaned it up, you open a wall, there's more coming out. I mean, it's got to be overwhelming for these guys. And at the same time, you're dealing with these crazy judges. I mean, look at the one in Minnesota. He was convicted by his peers in the jury, and the judge overturned it and let him walk. He stole $7.2 million, and this judge made this man walk. So I can see.
Well, it looks like on this current thing, we're going to get justice on the current case. It appears that it's already been through the legal process, and they're going to get nailed. I mean, there's at least reason for hope. At least in terms of Minnesota, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I know, and it is hope. But what I'm saying is I can understand that they want to be precise with what they're doing because what they're up against. Mm-hmm. They're up against all these crazy judges and lawyers and so forth that are doing crazy stuff.
Well, you know, as an example, this Clinton lady judge, the other day, they had on the Somali case, they had a jury conviction, and she tossed out the jury conviction.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
This guy stole $7.2 million.
Yeah.
And they made him walk.
Mm-hmm. They were convicted by the jury.
Action on this case, at least.
Yeah. I mean, listen. How can we not be impatient with Pam Bondi and Cash Patel? They aren't doing a good job on regular crime. I mean, listen. The murder rate in the United States in 2025, Trump's first year of his second term, the murder rate is the lowest it has been since they've been keeping the murder rate statistic. I mean, that's amazing. And the other crimes are down too, you know. But that's amazing, yeah, you know. And so you know, when it comes to the regular crimes and criminals, they're perfection. But when it comes to these lawfare people, they got nothing.
Well, see, they're the toughest. They're the toughest issues here because these are the ones that you have to be precise with. These are the ones.
Hold on. Let me give you an example. Let me get your thoughts on this. Okay. The story came out over the weekend, and then there was another update yesterday and another update this morning that Ilhan Omar's husband has been deleting all kinds of information from the company website, which is names and contacts and who they work with, which means they're afraid. why don't they have an emergency warrant and go in there and get his records? If he's deleting his website, he's shredding his records. And they've been hauled away by the garbage man, right? Why aren't they doing things like that? The Biden administration, they didn't waste much time busting into Trump's campaign workers, campaign managers' homes, his attorney's office with Michael Cohen and all that. You telling me they can't bust into Ilhan Omar's husband's office with his activities on the website over the weekend that are sending off red flags? How can I not be frustrated with that?
No, Brian, I understand. Like I said, I get frustrated with it too. But I'm saying I'm trying to find a way how these people can be very precise with what they're doing and not make mistakes, because the mistakes is going to be even more detrimental to me if they don't do it right. If they don't do it right, then I get even more frustrated.
That's what we've been saying for almost a year. We've been saying that for almost a year.
All right.
I appreciate the call. All right, take care. I know it's frustrating. Hold on a second. I'm going to put you on hold while I answer these lines. You back with me, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Hold on here. This is just, this is where I agree with you. President Trump has a coordinated effort in Minnesota, right? I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? Right? Did I lose you?
It would appear that way.
Okay, but what President Trump is doing is definitely exposing it. But we need Pam Bondi and Kash Patel to come in and close the deal, and that's where we're falling short. They're doing well with the regular criminals, but not the ones that are high profile and political.
Well, I don't know. It seems like we got a lot of the politicians out there in Minnesota on the run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Our number is 888-465-2631. Do you want to take some more calls, Steve?
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Steve. I'm calling from Georgia.
Okay.
Hey, Steven.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Hi. I just got a question for you. How could you still support a man who's a known pedophile?
Because I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, I'm talking about the guy whose dick you suck all day on YouTube Live.
Okay, there we go. Boy, oh boy. They got a one-track mind, these guys, don't they, Steve?
Next.
Yeah. Oh boy. That's a new one for me. That's a new one. See, Mike, the board op, he's going to get arthritis in his fingers too, like I got from the dump button. If you're on hold, stand by while we wait for the delay to build back up. I want to take this moment, though, to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. He was in studio yesterday, and he'll call, when you call for your no-charge consultation, he can give you the details because I cannot remember all of them. He's the financial expert, not me. But here we are. There's some major tax benefits to getting into annuities right now before the year's over. You got a couple days left. Joe Thomas is open normal hours today and tomorrow, so you've got time. And there's a major tax benefit to getting into annuities before the end of the year. He'll tell you about that. Also there's several investment vehicles. One of them are those high-yield savings accounts. Another one was CDs. And there was a third one I can't remember. Joe will tell you when you call for the no-charge consultation. They're performing well right now because the interest rates are high. As soon as the president brings in a new Fed chair and they lower the rates, they're not going to be performing that well. Okay, so you want to move. You know that old saying, Steve, with the stock market. Buy low and sell high. With those particular opportunities, now is the high point. Call Joe Thomas. He'll tell you the other one, which I can't remember, and it's time to move those into an annuity. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And his website is jupiterjoe.com. All right, back to the calls on this holiday week. All right, you ready, Steve?
Yep.
Hey, it's New Year's. What are you going to do? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hi, sir. Hi, my name is Parvin. I'm calling from England.
Oh, England. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my first time actually coming across your show, and then I really like that you are discussing something which worth discussing, and the ideas and the information that we are putting. I just want to tell you something what happened in the morning. So today I saw a YouTube feed, and I saw this CBS Minnesota News. Now, what I want to tell you is what they are trying to do is they are trying to say, oh, look the other way. What they did was they say, oh, we also went to there and nobody was there. And the other thing they said was when the guy Nick Shirley went there, it was the 23rd of December. Now, who would send their kids to this place? And I'm like, okay, if that's fair, then why did they open their office in the first place? I mean, if it was a holiday, then they shouldn't have been there anyway, because he went to multiple places.
Nick Shirley did not go there on a holiday. He did not go. He dropped the video over a holiday, but he did not go. He went there on a regular working day. People take their kids to daycare while they're at work.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what they are how they're trying to spin the story that Nick Shirley went to there on holidays.
Yeah, good luck with that. Everything's documented. Believe me, he'll expose that in a moment. As soon as he hears that story, he'll be out there exposing that. Listen, we only have 30 seconds until we have to break, because we're up against our top of the hour break. But hey, listen, welcome to the program, and call us again sometime. Steve's got family that live in the UK, so you got a bond here with Steve.
I sure do.
Yes. All right.
Sure do.
Yeah, the situation is pretty bad here as well. Anyway, have a nice day. Thanks.
You too. Take care. Take care. All right.
It's very bad over there. Very bad over there.
That's right. Okay, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. It's coming up on 8 a.m. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve's here. Be back after this. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. All right? For a couple minutes. Hold on.
Okay.
Will do. You there, Steve?
Yes, I am.
All right, we got 30 seconds. I've never seen the news so busy during a holiday week before.
All this stuff is breaking better late than never.
All right, got 15 seconds. All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. Steve Kane is here. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You know, I got to tell you, Steve, my wife got me like the best Christmas gift that you could get. You know, I got to tell you what it is. I got to brag about my wife a minute for the Christmas gift. My wife has a talent that I do not have. She knows the perfect gift to get for everyone. I don't know why. She just knows, right? She got me one of the Trump watches. You ever hear the commercial with President Trump?
Oh, wow.
You know,
which color did you get? You get the red one?
I got MAGA red. Are you kidding me? Of course. You know what President Trump says? People who know what it is and what it stands for. It is, Steve, these Trump watches, this is a family heirloom. I'm not going to be buried with it because I'm going to leave it to my kids or grandkids. Well, my kid, I only have one, but to my daughter or to her children. But these Trump watches, Steve, are amazing. I don't know if the president's listening up at Mar-a-Lago. Why don't you advertise the Trump watches on our program here? Because I don't wear anything on. I don't wear watch. I have an Apple Watch. I rarely wear it. I haven't taken this thing off since I got it on Christmas, except to sleep and shower. I wear it all the time. And it's really cool. It's a really cool, the Trump watch. It's got his signature, of course, is on the front. I don't know why you would get any color other than red. And then on the back, Steve, it's got an image of President Trump engraved into the metal with the fight, 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 image. It's amazing. I mean, this is something else. All right, let's go back to the phones, and then we'll bring up some more stuff because a lot's happened. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hi, this is Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
Hey, Joe.
I'm calling about Dan Bongino.
Yep.
You know, he's not doing anything, you say.
Well, he quit.
I always say it starts with the... Okay, he quit. Well, maybe because he was so frustrated with the whole system. I always say it starts at the top. So the fact that he's not arresting somebody, maybe his hands are tied by whether it be Pam Bondi, President Trump. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it.
Well, when he returns to his program, if he says some specifics about some arrests that he was not allowed to make, I'll be very interested in hearing that.
Yeah.
And he may or may not be willing to talk about that on the air.
Well, he's got a good excuse.
Yes, I don't think he would be saying something like that. I mean, they cannot find a better person, more trustworthy and loyal to Trump than Dan Bongino. I know that. So, when you say Tom Homan is doing such a great job getting all these people arrested, it's a whole different realm of people that he is arresting versus the deep state people. So, yes, Tom Homan's doing a great job, but you can't compare the two, I would say.
Tom Homan, okay. Tom Homan's started out as a regular Border Patrol agent and worked his way up. And he was actually offered the cabinet position, Secretary of Homeland, and he turned it down. He wanted to do what he's doing. And I've seen him many times this past year out in the field, and he'll be there with a group of officers that aren't even his, that are like local, and he's giving them orders, and they're taking them, and they're listening and following. Tom Homan is a real cop, and he's a natural-born leader, and everybody does what he says. I mean, it's just, he's like Pat now there. And I was expecting...
Yeah, but you're talking about...
Yeah.
You're talking about arresting these illegals, which everybody wants out, and it's a lot easier to get the people that are murderers, rapists, versus the deep state people that these people are investigating and need to go arrest.
Agreed. But now look at what's going on. But hold on. But this Somalian crime ring led by Tim Walz.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. Comey is probably the leader of the whole lawfare against Trump every step of the way, right? I know Obama is the big picture guy, but Comey is he's the general. Okay, I agree. it's very difficult and dangerous to take on those people. However, the same cannot be true for this Somali fraud op in Minnesota.
Okay, well, is Dan Bongino, is he the one in charge of going over there and arresting Tim Walz? I mean, they're investigating. It takes
I don't think you can go and arrest Tim Walz right now.
All their ducks in a row.
But you could. There's with the stories out, Joe Ellen. I know. Listen, I'm a fan of Dan Bongino's too. I used to listen to his podcast all the time, and I don't listen to that many shows. Okay, so I'm not a Dan Bongino hater, but I'm just disappointed in everything. But what I talked about in the last hour, Joe Ellen. Ilhan Omar's husband is scrubbing their website from names and connections they have. The FBI could get a warrant to go into his office and stop him from destroying evidence. If he's wiping the website clean, which will still be online, he's got to have physical records that he's destroying too. Okay, and why are they not there? He's obviously destroying evidence or attempting to destroy evidence on the website. Why are they not at Ilhan Omar's husband's office right now, stopping him from destroying evidence?
Well, that's a good question, but I wouldn't lay it all on Dan's shoulders.
It's Kash Patel and
there's a lot of things that aren't.
Listen, it's Kash Patel and Bondi. Yeah, I understand there's a hierarchy. He's not the boss; he's the deputy director. But Bondi and Kash Patel could be over there. Why aren't they doing that?
Maybe. Who knows what goes on behind the scenes?
Well, it's a work in progress.
We don't know that. What's that?
I say it's a work in progress. We don't know what the final result's going to look like.
Yes, we do. We don't. Hopefully there'll be a lot more arrests, convictions. But look at what happened to Comey. I think I understand that they can go back and appeal and try
Let me ask you, Joe Ellen, because
while
I did listen to Bongino's podcast, I didn't listen to it every day. Okay, and it's been a while. Did he take calls from listeners?
Not a lot.
No.
Not a lot.
Mm-mm.
Not a lot.
Okay, so
no. I mean, I never called in, and they don't usually. He was more about him talking.
Yeah, more about his talking. Yeah, when he comes back, if he were to take calls like we were doing, it would stop. It would be a disaster. He'd have to have very controlled call. Because every call is going to be people like me, like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And this is my concern with Dan Bongino's return. We're all disappointed in Bongino, Kash, and Pam Bondi. All of us in the MAGA movement, including the president, who has put posts on True Social about Pam Bondi by name. Okay, he's been very frustrated too. What I'm concerned about is I don't want him to turn into Marjorie Taylor Greene, where he's just criticizing Trump. And he may find that the disappointment is so high that he's not going to be able to get back his former glory of his show that he thinks he's going to have. And what could bring back that glory is if he goes Marjorie Taylor Greene on us.
I don't believe that he would be doing that, especially against Trump. I mean, they're friends. And if Trump is bashing Bondi online, then he should get rid of her. He should be doing something about it, right? What's going on? Why isn't? Too bad Matt Gaetz isn't in there. That would be so awesome. But unfortunately, we have Bondi. So
I would love to see Bondi. I'd like to see her replaced with Judge Janine.
Yeah, Judge Janine is great.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who you place her. I mean that might be a good thing, but then you need somebody in Washington. So she can't do it all.
Oh, she could be attorney. I would love Judge Janine as attorney general.
Yes, I like her work ethic and everything, and she's doing a lot of great work. But she's not. I don't think she's getting the deep state people. She's not getting the deep state people.
That's not really her realm. Her realm is more of
that's right.
other things. But if she were attorney general, it would be.
And we're looking. But what we need is somebody that does the realm to get the Comey And
the Justice Department is performing perfectly. Listen, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Bongino have done a perfect job when it comes to regular crimes. The lowest murder rate in the history of the murder statistics. And all the other violent crimes are down too. However, I don't know of any investigation that Kash and Bongino have run. They got the pipe bomber, and they pointed out to us they didn't collect any new evidence or interview any new witnesses. They just went through all the evidence that the Chris Wray FBI left behind. I mean, you know, that's some low-hanging fruit of an investigation.
Yeah. Well, that stood for a lot, though. You know, this pipe bomber guy. I mean, you know, it was a distraction.
And every statement from him is that he's MAGA. He did it for Trump. Give me a break. You know, these statements that are coming out from the pipe bomber. I don't believe any of that.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, it's so obvious that it's not. I mean, anybody that would believe that.
He worked for his dad. He worked for his dad's bail bonds company.
Anyway.
He worked for his dad's bail bonds company that was bailing out illegal immigrants, and they've done work with Benjamin Crump, who was the Trayvon Martin family attorney.
Right.
So, and now all of it, and he's ultra MAGA. I did it for Trump. I did it for MAGA. I'm standing up against the, you know, give me a break. And come on.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to convince any of these left wingers or these, you know, never Trumpers that it's any different. You know, they're just.
Joel and you and I are on the same page. I'm a fan of Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, but they got the job, and we haven't seen results. The indictments that they got, Comey and Letitia, that are in jeopardy, right, because of these hack judges. Harrigan got that. It was, you know, Bondi and Kash had nothing to do with that. It was Pam Bondi. All right, listen, Joel, and we gotta run, but I want you
Happy New Year, you guys. Okay.
I want you to be right, and I want to be wrong. All right, take care. All right. This is the year, 2026. Listen, this is the New Year's resolution to lose weight. This is the year that it's going to come true, because you're going to call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You want to call them now. You know, I went and met with them the Tuesday before I started, and the reason I met with them on Inauguration Day, and I started a week later, and the reason is I left the inauguration and then went to the airport and flew to California to visit my daughters before she moved back to Florida, and I love the food in California. Okay, I love the Korean barbecue and the food trucks and you've never had a burrito till you've had one from a Mexican food truck, okay, in Los Angeles. You know, so I told Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I got to start next week because I'm going to California and I'm going to partake. And what I realized is I could have started it while I was in California because I was eating foods I would normally eat, right? So it wouldn't matter. But listen, you want to call Coastal Weight Loss Secret now. Make this the final time you ever make a New Year's resolution to lose weight, because you're going to do it, and it's easy with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I did it, and I've kept all the weight off. Here's the number, 561-247-6300. It's a no-charge consultation, and they can help you lose weight no matter where you're located in the world. 561-247-6300, 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlasssecret.com. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve.
Okay.
I don't know. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. We'll take calls after the break. You're welcome to call if you want. All right, now guys, we're still in radio break. I'm going to be here all week. I may not be on the radio on the 1st, but I'll be live streaming here on YouTube. So, so keep an eye out for me. I'll be live streaming all week long and podcasting as well. So subscribe if you're new. And if you guys could take the link to the program and share it on all your socials and invite your friends to check this program out, that'd be great. You can join the marketing team here. And please make sure you like the video. All right, Steve, you there?
Yes.
Okay, we got about 30 seconds. I might do a little extended gold report today because I got a couple questions I want to ask him. When we get to that,
I'm very anxious to find out what's going on.
Oh.
Because I'm confused by what I read in the paper.
All right.
The key is what's been going on over the weekend.
All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve is here. I'm Brian. Our number is 888-465-2631. All right, back to the phones we go on this New Year's week. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve.
Brian, what's up?
Well, I tell you what, what's so upsetting about this whole thing, we have our
Brian, you got to turn
judicial...
the volume down on whatever you're listening to us on in the background.
Oh, there's nothing on.
What am I
hear
hearing?
Anything?
I'm hearing myself in the back on delay.
Gee, it's not on here.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Okay.
Maybe I'm hearing the receiver on your phone.
Oh, go ahead.
All right.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
All right.
The thing is, listen, it looks like Nick Shirley looks like a high school kid. The other guy looks like a senior citizen. This is the tip of the spear that's investigating this huge, massive corruption in Minnesota. I mean, this really looks, the optics of this are just absolutely horrendous. And I agree with you. I think they're going to have to get Judge Janine in there. I think she'd be terrific on the job. Do you remember when Laura Loomis was going to scorch earth on Bondi? And Trump had to say to back off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was right. I think Loomis was right on all the criticism.
She's always right.
Yeah, you know, these guys built the whole case in a day by just walking around and knocking on the door and hit a couple of places, and you see this is a total fraud.
Here's the thing, okay? With Ilhan, they could get a warrant right now that would stop Ilhan Omar's husband from destroying any more potential evidence without any further investigation. This purging of his website is enough to get a warrant for the House and the office.
After the disaster they had yesterday where they made the FBI look so bad in that, why wouldn't they follow through with this? Why are they still sitting on this, not doing anything?
This has been my theory from day one when we got our frustrations, because all of us are frustrated with these three.
Absolutely.
I like them all. However, I think Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have hyped up their resume for years on radio shows and podcasts. You know, I know he was a cop. I know cop and federal as Secret Service, but I don't think Tom Homan's a real cop. And the thing about Tom Homan, if you didn't know who Tom Homan was and you saw him at Publix, you would know he was a cop. You understand?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think Bongino and Kash Patel have hyped up their resumes a little bit with their great presentations and stuff.
Do you think it's basically they don't understand the mechanics of running the FBI and doing these operations?
I don't think
and
they
that?
understand
I mean,
the mechanics of being a cop and doing investigations and interviewing witnesses. I was shocked when they admitted they didn't interview one witness or collect any new evidence on the pipe bombing. I wouldn't know how to do that. I'm not a detective. I'm not a cop.
No. Now, again, you look talk about Tom. Would Tom Homan be putting up with this nonsense in Minnesota? Not even knocking on doors, not even checking these things out. I mean,
and I got to tell you, Kristi Noem, she's already got. She put out a video on her Twitter. She sent out some Homeland Security investigators are in Minneapolis knocking on doors, and she put a video up there. And I saw the video. I know a lot of you have. They were asking all the right questions. They were all about who's running the place, who's cashing the checks, kind of questions. And but I don't see this going on with the Kash Patel's team.
Well, I tell you what's really upsetting to me. These were our guys. These are the guys we wanted in there. These are the guys we trusted. We had total confidence in them. And unless there's some sting operation we don't know about and it's top secret, I don't think so. This has been very disappointing.
Well,
by three of our top guys.
Listen, I like them both.
I do too.
I mean, is my theory that they padded up their abilities, is that far-fetched based on what we've seen? I don't want to be right about any of this.
I don't either, but are we going to see some replacements coming? Because
we already have one for, I would not be surprised. They brought in, see, I don't buy that Dan Bongino just left. I don't accept that. I think he very well may have been fired. They brought in a couple months ago another deputy director of the FBI, which is a new position. There's only been one throughout history since Hoover's boyfriend. Okay, what was his boyfriend? Yeah. What was Hoover's boyfriend's name, Steve? That he's buried with? Tillman?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Do you remember the name, Steve?
No, I don't.
Tillman, I can't remember. And he's He's in the same crypt with Hoover, isn't he? His boyfriend. Was he the deputy? But anyway, this deputy director that they brought in, he may end up kind of being the director, maybe. You know what I mean? He might be running the whole thing.
Well, the other true thing is we've lost quite a bit of time here too. Everything was ready to go. We had the guys in there.
Tolson was Hoover's boyfriend. Clyde
That's
Tolson.
Right, Tolson.
Thank you. Somebody in the chat.
Yeah,
Tolson. Not Tillman. Tolson.
But where's the body of work on this Minnesota disaster? I mean, this is just an abomination.
Nick Shirley has it. Nick Shirley has it.
Yeah, Nick Shirley's got it.
See, Kash Patel's guys should have been the ones walking around with the guy that Shirley was walking around with, knocking on doors.
Well, wouldn't you think that Kash Patel would go down there just to get on camera in Minnesota, just to see that he's, interested in what's going on? I mean, I've seen him in a couple of times in press conferences, and it looks like he's getting, like he's out of the picture, like on the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. He was like marginalized in that. Now he's really getting marginalized in this to the point like, well, is he even aware anything's going on there? He should be taking charge of this. He should be a big presence on television talking about this and what they're doing. Yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing coming out. So
and this thing. See, you can get warrants to stop that just stop people from destroying evidence. There's no reason you cannot get a warrant to do that on Ilhan Omar husband's office, wherever he has businesses, and the home where he has a home office, because he's obviously destroyed evidence.
Well, wouldn't you think that our FBI in Minnesota would be, the home office would be out there first thing checking on this, at least looking at it, at least have a presence there? Did they even leave the facility that they're in? Was it Duluth, Minnesota?
I know that he's getting out of it. He's closing down the J. Edgar Hoover building, Kash Patel, but that's at the bottom of the list of what I wanted him to do.
Yeah, they can do that anytime.
Listen, we got to run.
Go ahead. Take your break, Brian.
Oh yeah, we got to break. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, is here. Our number is toll free 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. Hold on. right, Steve, you there?
Yes, I
okay,
am.
we got a little more than a minute. I got an update. I'll when we get back, I'll share it on the Minnesota. Just dropped.
Okay, good.
Gosh darn it. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, hold on, Steve. Stand by.
Hello?
Yeah, stand by. Okay, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Okay, good. I had a panicked text message with the board up at the radio station. I thought I did something that I didn't do. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay, I got an update on the Minnesota story. Have you seen this? Okay, so the story dropped.
I got the post in front of me. The headline of it's the cover story on the front page.
Mm-hmm. What is
Walls closes in.
Yes.
ICE raids in Minnesota after Somali feud.
Yes, but that's not the update. The update just dropped, and I got, okay. You've seen the video. Okay, so Friday, Nick Shirley's video dropped that the child care facilities didn't have kids in them, right? And then today, you're seeing the videos of the Somalis taking the kids to the daycare. Those videos are from 2015 and 2018, not yesterday. So they didn't, so there's still no kids in the child care facilities. And this was all I saw these videos yesterday all over the internet, and they were saying that was Monday. No, they did not take kids. So there's still childless child care centers. Those are videos.
It seems like to me like they're nailed pretty well from what I'm reading in the paper, the overview.
Yeah, but see, it's not the Somalis you wanted. We just want them deported. It's Tim Walz and the Democrats in Minnesota. See, Steve, I think Tim Walz was picked to be Kamala's running mate to bring this Medicaid fraud thing as vice president to every state in the union. I think the Democrats made him the running mate, thinking as vice president he could get this going in all their states. Yeah. So the one you don't want this. We want to get the Somalians out of their fraudulent businesses. We just want to deport them. Okay. The real criminals are the Democrats. These Somalis didn't set up this operation. They didn't set up these the Democrats, Tim Walz, and the people under him set up these operations. When you have a child care center. Some of them are autism centers, and there's some other things. There are like code enforcement officers from the local and state government that come in to check up on you all the time to make sure, like food inspectors, right?
Supposed to.
Yeah. So there's a lot. Well, they have these office holders. So there's a lot of lower level people at the local, county, and state level that have been signing off on this fraud for years, meaning they are a part of it. There's so many, these are the ones you need to go after. And then you go up the hill all the way to Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar. The people at the facilities, they're just the workers. So
to get back to what I was saying, don't you think we're being prematurely unfair to Bongino and his crowd?
Well, Bongino's not a part of it. He quit. So So he's out.
You know what I mean?
Cash Patel and Bondi, once they make a major arrest of a high-profile person whose name we already know, then they'll be redeemed. But I mean,
if one is to believe the paper, would indicate that they're about to do just that.
Yeah.
It seems everything's ready to pop.
Yep. Yep.
And the timing is right on the election.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the awareness is, but I'm not so sure about the arrest part of it. That's where.
Well, so that's where we come in. We're here to hold them accountable.
That's what we're doing. Yes. All we can do is expose it. We can't do the arrest. It takes Cash Patel to do the arresting. But I read this morning over 200 million have seen Nick Shirley's report now. Over 200 million. That's pretty much like every adult in the country. I mean, that's a lot of people. The fact that the mainstream media, Fox News and Newsmax have covered it, but the other ones, they haven't covered it, and it's probably taken off even better because they haven't covered it. If they were covering it, it may not have gotten the publicity. Part of the reason it's gone viral so fast is because Nick Shirley he's I don't know, what is he, like an anti-establishment? He's kind of like what Geraldo Rivera tried to pass himself off as in the 70s and 80s, right? Just a regular journalist out there in the field, and he's not with the corporate and all of that, like in the Willowbrook era. But this is this story is only beginning. I'll give you that. All right, you want to take some more calls?
Yes.
All right, let's go. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Hey, Jay. How you doing?
I'm not good. I'm in the hospital.
Oh, no. What's wrong?
This is the guy, sir, get sober.
No, that was Renee. He's in the hospital. He's in the hospital.
What do you mean? That's the guy that you hung up on and banned.
No. That was Renee from Harlem. This is Jay from Jersey. I know they sound alike. What are you in the hospital for, Renee?
What does that matter?
Is it that bad?
We're
just committed to it.
We're trying to wish you good health for the new year. I mean, what does that matter?
Yeah, whatever.
Is it a rehab or a hospital?
I wouldn't need to be in one of those, so that's beside the point while we talk about what I called for. Let's see if y'all two nuts can do that. Now, y'all talking about the people that Trump put in place. You bragged and said, oh, that's the best person. Oh, they're so good. Oh, yeah, he did a good job picking. But when I said there was all a bunch of nuts that he put up in there, TV people off the TV, a bunch of fools, people that didn't know what
these Democratic politicians
couldn't understand that. What?
You're talking about these Walsh and these Democratic politicians, the crooks?
Why?
Hello, Jay. Jay.
Okay, listen to this, Steve. How come your eyes and ears and somewhat of a brain can see corruption, but you can't see all the stuff that's being the corruption and the money that's being hustled through the White House?
I think I heard the heart monitor beeping. I think your heart's starting to beat faster. I heard a monitor go beep.
No, it's because I'm moving my arm from my IV. If I move my arm from my IV, the thing goes off.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay with you?
Are you sure it's not? Is it an IV or an ankle monitor?
No, you would be wearing that. The man who goes out
there was a
4
pause.
o'clock in the morning all
There
the
was
time.
a pause.
Renee, what can we do for you?
I asked
Hey, what we can do is to hang out and to let you resume normal breathing.
Yeah, and get back to your IV. What are you in? Are you okay? Are you going to be okay?
So
no, he's not. Does he sound okay?
No, he doesn't sound okay.
No, he's not okay. Ring for the nurse. Ring for the nurse.
Oh my goodness!
Come on.
I let him go.
Ring for the nurse.
You know, this is crazy. You got a guy. This is how bad Trump derangement.
You're just going to hang up on him like that? Leave him sitting there having a stroke?
He's got monitors. I heard beeping going on. He's monitored. You know, why would he not? You know, I asked him what he was in the hospital for, and he says, "What does that matter? Why would he be so upset asking that question? What could he be in the hospital for that he doesn't want to share?" Any ideas, Steve?
I don't know. No.
Oh my
I
goodness.
can get a couple guesses, but
yeah, I don't know.
Nothing definitive.
That's how bad the Trump derangement syndrome is, right? Here you got a guy in a hospital bed in New Jersey. He's got an IV. He's obviously a little doped up from whatever he's getting. He's tired. He's not doing well. You never sleep well in the hospital, and he's still hating on Trump and mad at us, right? You know, I mean, gee whiz, that Trump derangement syndrome. It rots people's brains, man. All right, hold on. Let me answer these calls. All right, you want to take some more calls?
Sure.
All right, we're kind of like becoming therapists here this week. This is
nowhere to go but up.
Well, that's for sure. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Stafford. Happy New Year to you and to Steve and families.
Hey, William.
I have a different opinion about Pam Bondi and Cash Patel.
Okay.
I'm more frustrated than disappointed.
Yes.
Because they can't talk about what they're doing. And we don't know what they're doing. And if we ask them, we hopefully will probably get it. They can't talk about it. It's an ongoing investigation. They are impaneling a new grand jury in Fort Pierce in the first 10 days, I think, of January.
Yes.
And according to, I think it was Mike Davis, that this is going to be something really revealing once they get that jury impaneled.
Correct.
So it's hard to say they're not doing their job when they can't talk about what they're doing. That's really frustrating. And I can understand.
Well, but hold on, but no. I agree with you, and I am impatient. I will give you that because I want them to do what I want them to do it. But while they may not be able to talk about it, they can do some high-profile things, like going to Ilhan Omar's husband's office and stop him from destroying evidence. Those kind of things, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know why they're not coming out and doing raiding, but they have to have probable cause. But ever raiding, the Minnesota's governor's office and his home.
Yeah.
But
and obviously, listen. This fraud being done through the Medicaid is done. It's federal money, but it's done through the state, right? They dispense the funds. So whatever the offices are that send the money to these childless child care centers and these other things that Nick Shirley, they can't send people into there and seize their records.
I don't know why they can't. I mean,
of course they could.
They went after Spiro Agnew when he was vice president. They should be able to go after
That's for sure.
And when they went after Spiro Agnew, now again, I was a baby, but they do have these history books. What they went after Spiro Agnew on was allegations of bribery, but back at the state level, when he was in state government. It wasn't even federal level, and it was very high profile. And then they went after the president too. But this is come on.
It's that slow pace, unfortunately.
Slow pace. Yeah, you could say that. Jeb Bush style, the turtle.
But I also think there's also could be a conspiracy being done in Fort Pierce from going back to 2016.
You are correct.
Going all the way forward.
Yes, you
all
are
the way
correct.
forward to Margot.
Yes.
And I'm hopefully that's what's going.
You don't
to
know how much I
happen.
want to be wrong. And the moment that happens, they're all redeemed.
Yeah, and they can't talk about it because they can't show their hand. It's just frustrating rather than disappointing.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope they got all kinds of stuff that they're just not leaking out and they can't show.
Oh, I hope I'm right too.
I want you to be right.
Everybody's frustration. It's just so slow.
Well, listen, we got a break, and guys, when we come back, it's Gold Report time. You won't want to miss that. All right, thanks for the call from Sanford, Florida. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold. We'll come back with William Youngerman with the Gold and Precious Metals Report. Okay.
Good morning.
Hey there, we got about 1 minute. So I'm not gonna put you on hold. I'm just gonna conference Steven and then we're gonna wait. We got less than a minute. Okay, hold on. All right. Steve, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, William, stand by. We got less than a minute. Yeah. Less than a minute.
Okay.
All right, we're back. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Tuesday Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking today?
Metals looking up a little bit today after yesterday's major pullback. After we've had major run-ups, all new kind of record highs taking place on last Friday, and of course profit taking coming in yesterday, plus the thin trading with many market makers and marketers taking off for the holidays. We saw some nice pullbacks, and we're really proud of our Steve Kane listeners because they were lined up all day long yesterday, taking advantage of the fire sale on all of the precious metals. So that's really great that they did so. Gold yesterday trading in a range as high as $4,550, and then coming off that high from Sunday night to close down. Get this, $202.70 at $4,330.20 the ounce on the close yesterday. We have seen $200 days like this before in this market that we've been building on for all year. So a $200 correction with gold up at $4,500 is not really unusual, or certainly not anything to be concerned about. Silver dropped $7.50 after gaining over $8 last week, giving back those gains and closing yesterday at $72.10 the ounce, down $7.57. Platinum was down $344 at $2,107. But keep in mind, when we recommended platinum earlier this year, it was $900. So we are still well over double what we were at the beginning of the year.
Wow.
And palladium was down $304 at $1,618. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $43.23 all the way up to $44.05. Right now, we're at $4,380. That's up $48.60. Silver's at $75.60 the ounce. That's up $3.50. Platinum is up $108 at $22.15, and palladium is up $14 at $16.32. So the dip and the correction may not last very long, but I was very proud to see Steve Kane listeners lined up yesterday to take advantage of that sale. And I do appreciate all the business that we've enjoyed with all of our Steve Kane listeners throughout this year, as well as the fact that their patience has been really wonderful while they're keeping all four of our traders very, very busy during the day.
Well, that's awesome to hear. You know, and you're getting a lot of people, I imagine, that have never been involved with the metals before now, right?
We are, yes, indeed. We have a lot of new buyers.
You know, anytime you do something new, you know, it's an unknown. So when people that have never bought a gold or silver coin in their life, they know nothing about the metals other than hearing your reports on the program. How can you help them with that transaction when they come there? Because they probably don't know, I want gold, I want silver. They don't know what particular, if they want a bar, if they want a coin, if they want an ounce, if they want 100 ounce. You know, how do you handle it when somebody comes in that's never bought the metals before?
We take as much time as they need to feel at peace about doing what they were doing and doing business with us. One thing we truly believe in is educating our customers, and that's one of the reasons why we have the show with Steve Kane, because we want people to become informed buyers, and we want them to be long-term customers. Many of our customers have been with us for over 50 years, and if we can establish a relationship with our people, we really like to do that. So ask all the questions you want, and if you don't get all the answers, give us a call, and we'll be glad to talk to you.
Okay, so today you're open normal hours, and tomorrow by appointment?
We're open normal hours today. Tomorrow we'll probably be open until 2 o'clock, but just call before you come. We might be open all day. I don't know how the day is going to unfold.
And then Thursday and Friday closed?
Thursday and Friday closed. Possibly on Friday, again, open by appointment, so give us a call.
Okay, so give William Youngerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. The number is 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Have a great day. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, you back with us, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Oh, my goodness. The metals are on fire. Oh my goodness, it's so exciting. Yeah, so no, this is a great time. So the press conference that the president had yesterday with Netanyahu, we did our first land strike. Hold on, let me put you on way into these lines. We did our first the first land strike on the cartels in Venezuela happened a few days ago over the Christmas weekend.
Right.
And it was at wherever they're launching the boats from. I mean, and a lot of people are saying he's starting another war. Ronald Reagan started the war on drugs. President Trump is ending another war. The drug importation of the country is down over 90%, he said again yesterday, over 90%. And all this talk of inflation and prices going up or going down, I'd love to know what the prices of illegal drugs are today as compared to a year ago. And how much, because the supply is in such short supply, the prices... He's basically put the junkies in a national rehab. They can't afford to buy the drugs, right? They can't afford it.
Let's thought of it that way.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's IB in Broward. Good morning.
Hey.
Brian. Hey Brian, how did they hey Uncle Steve, good morning. How did they finally nab Al Capone?
Income taxes.
Because of the bookie.
Yeah, I saw the movie.
These people have to have ledgers. If kids are coming in there every day, they have to have ledgers.
Yeah, they're in Somali. They're written in Somalian. Good luck translating that. Al Capone used English,
to be
maybe
there.
some Italian.
No, but it has to be there on record every day that the kids come in. If they're sick, they have to have not only a cafeteria, but medical supplies in case there's injury. All of these things they cannot hide. They can try to bring kids in, and then just bust them in. But where are their addresses? Where are the phone numbers in case of emergency contact? So they are done. But Trump has to time himself for the midterms because there's so much on the plate, and we have time. We still have time. Yes. The FBI, the DEA, everybody should be there already. I think that this is really not looking good for our side when we have so much things in our faces and nobody is following up on the given. It's been laid out on the table. There's no reason why those doors are not being banged down.
I'm a little confused here. I've got today's New York Post in front of me, and they're talking about they're doing raids and everything. They're actively involved in this investigation. Why do you say that?
Are you talking about raids in Minnesota on these daycare centers and these artistic? And what about all of these open? I haven't seen any federal agents go in. When did that happen?
Well, pick up the New York Post and take a look at the record. It's all in the Post.
Who led the charge on that?
I don't know. Tato. I don't know. This is a weird question.
Are you sure you read in the New York Post that they have federal agents in Minnesota?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen videos. Yeah, I've seen videos.
The headline, to be exact, the headline is Walls closes in.
Yeah, no.
Equality line.
Yeah, they are. They've moved FBI there. There's Homeland Security agents. Yeah.
If the New York Post says that, they have inside sources, so we got to run with that. If there's ever a liberal paper that would say such a thing, we got to run with that. That gives Trump the upper hand now.
There's a lot of Republicans in Minnesota too.
Well, I don't get you. I mean, what more can they do than make the front headlines of the paper with the stories? Okay, that's cool. All right.
But I just admitted I didn't know that, and what I said was the fact that it's a liberal newspaper. That's great. That's awesome. That's good for us.
But this is what I. But here's the thing.
What I be saying is important though.
What?
It's true that it's been a long time. This investigation went on years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's an old investigation. It's not a new one. They're picking up where they.
Do you think that
left off?
Hey, IB, we got to run. We're running short on time, and we don't have much time, Steve. But New Year's parties, New Year's Eve parties. I could think of no better place to cater your New Year's Eve party than Wings Plus in Coral Springs. What about you?
Oh yeah. Not only that, all the great bowl games coming up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys some advice on Wings Plus. Okay, get the 50 wing platter. Okay, get it for New Year's. Get it for the games. Get it for everything. Everything.
Don't forget the lemon pepper. Don't forget lemon pepper.
Yeah, my two favorites are the medium hot wings and the lemon pepper. Those are my go-tos. They're both spectacular. They're all great, but those are my two favorites. And if you can get a couple 50 wing platters, you'll be very happy that you did. And if you get them for like a game or your New Year's party earlier in the day or even the day before, when you pick them up, ask them at Wings Plus the reheating instructions. Steve, Brian Walsh at Wings Plus has this down to a science. I can't remember what it is, but they'll tell you when you're there, okay? They give you the exact temperature and the exact minutes to reheat in your oven, and when you follow their directions, it comes out of your oven like it came out of their kitchen. They got it down to a science. It's really good. So get your 50 wing platters and make sure you ask them the reheating instructions. And follow them to the letter, to the second, and to the degree, okay? They got it down to a science. Wings Plus in Coral Springs is about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. All right, that's it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. live. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. My name is Brian Craig. Our schedule for New Year's Day, and we haven't decided yet, but we'll let you know tomorrow, guys, okay? Because tomorrow's already Wednesday, if you can believe it. Oh, boy, I know, huh? God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. All right, Steve, I'll talk to you later. All right, take care. All right, now, guys, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. And those who already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video. And if you could also take the link and share on all your socials and invite your friends to check out the show. Join my marketing team. I'd really appreciate that. All right, everyone. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.